This is one of 3 spins for Bubba Wallace. There's number 2. And he had another one.
They didn't stop there. These weren't the only 2 drivers that had problems. Eric Almirola also early in practice just overdrove turn 3. I think we'll see this happen several times this weekend. He also damaged his car. See right there, he just tries to carry a little bit too much speed, and there's a major penalty here for doing that.
Ryan Blaney coming through the chicane on the back straightaway. Just barely clips that wall, but does a lot of damage to the car. Splits the fender away from the nose piece on the car. Gave those guys something to work on. Also, Dillon also coming through the same particular part of the racetrack. Has a lot of damage to his car, making contact with that barrier.
That is a big contact right there, and just a ton of work those guys are going to have to do to get ready.
Yeah, during practice we mentioned probably a backup car. They fixed it.
They're going to fix it, yeah.
They went ahead and decided that they were going to fix it so that they didn't have to go to a backup car. They put a Dow Band-Aid on there. Well, that was awful sweet of them. We're going to talk to drivers before they go out and take on this over 2-mile road course here in Charlotte. Monster Energy Cup Series qualifying from Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval coming up. Before we get to the track, let's hear from a driver. He's standing by with Dave Burns.
And Rick, you know the voluminous data they send us before each and every race. I looked at Joey Logano's. He's as good as anybody on the Roval, stats-wise. Let's talk about practice earlier today and what you discovered in terms of speed, because we've talked about how important qualifying is going to be. Where's the balance between going for a good spot and risking?
Well, I think there's that risk versus reward that's in your mind all day long, especially in our points position and along with a lot of others out here. So I think qualifying up front is probably worth the risk. It's definitely going to be important to have a good starting spot because we don't know what turn one's going to be like. We don't know what it's going to be like going into the 3 or going into the bus stop or whatever. What do we call that back there?
I still like calling it the drive-through because no one stops there.
Yeah, whatever it is. Those areas are the treacherous spots, so we just don't know what's going to happen. So the further you are to the front, the better. So the good news is it seems like the Shell Pennzoil Ford has a lot of speed in it. It seemed like we were able to lay down a good lap in practice, but there's a lot of turns here, and you just got to make sure I get all of it, but don't get too much. It's all about just taking what it'll give you and having a nice smooth lap, enough to get us through the first round and then go for the pole after that.
Joey Logano relaxing, getting ready to qualify. Kelly?
All right, so one driver who got maybe just a little bit too much in that last practice, Austin Dillon. Hey, look at this repair job. They did a nice. It's got the Band-Aid. I feel like it needs a little kiss on it. What's it going to be like now getting back behind the wheel to go put down a quali lap?
Well, I'm confident. I've tried to get the most out of the car. As you can see, it's pretty tore up, but the guys did a great job fixing this Dow Chevy. I actually am feeling comfortable around the track. I'm just trying to get speed where there's not speed, and I got to be smart about that, work my way up to it. And it'll hopefully all play out well for us in the end. But I do feel good in the technical stuff, like through the infield. Just need to find some speed off of turn 8 and be consistent, and it'll all work out.
Qualifying always important, but how do you rate or rank this qualifying importance on this course in this position in the playoffs?
Well, we've qualified 28th and had to start last at Vegas in the first round of the playoffs, and so. For us, qualifying hasn't really mattered. We would like to get to stage points. Obviously, this is like a street race, is what AJ Allmendinger was telling me. Like being, so I've never done that, and track position obviously would matter in that case because it's so hard to pass here. But we'll just put ourselves in a good position, fight all hard all day, and see what it gives us.
Thank you, Austin. One guy who's got himself in a great position with a great view from the Peacock pit box, Steve Letarte.
I do, Kelly. I'm down here basically at the end of pit road, right by where the first pit stall that will be used for the race, pit stall 4 right behind me, down near turn 1. And I think the conversation all day long, guys, risk versus reward when we look ahead to the race, well, I think that starts right now in qualifying. A good qualifying position, I think, makes everything much simpler when you look at how the race lays out strategy-wise. But this is a road course. When we go to Sonoma, Watkins Glen, a mistake or over-driving normally just hurts your lap. You get off course. But here we just saw what happened to Austin Dillon in the backstretch chicane, and I watched the majority of both Xfinity and Cup practices. That front stretch chicane is not much better because it's very easy to miss that second curb. That would make your time be disallowed.
Hey, Steve, I think there's some guys here that feel confident enough to be able to go out there and run one fast lap right away. But if I was a driver and said, hey, I need 2-3 laps, how many laps would you be willing to let me try to run in a row right away in this first round?
Well, I think tires stay good. So if you tell me you need time, we're going to go out there with the grill open, run some laps. Only the top 12 move forward, but if you can get us inside the top 20, that would make me feel a lot better rolling off on Sunday afternoon.
All right, crew chief saying inside the top 20. And Jeff Burton, you said you need good track position. You want to start 18th.
NBC.com/KidsHits to learn more.
Big event weekend for NBC, and make sure you have the NBC Sports app, especially for the action with NASCAR on NBC. You get closer with alternate camera angles, driver stats, track information. It's all available on the NBC Sports app as we're seeing drivers fire their cars up. It's 2 rounds of qualifying, the group qualifying format from here at the Roval. Fastest 12 cars are going to advance to round 2. They have 25 minutes. And a lot of questions before they got to the track with the drivers saying, okay, what do we do after our lap is done? How do we get out of the way? Well, NASCAR has said, don't slow down. Once you finish your lap, continue on around the track all the way until you get to pit road so that you can get out of the way of those that are trying to get a good, clean lap for qualifying.
So see all these cars going out together. I find it really interesting they're this close together. Now they're going to try to ride around a little bit. They're not pushing hard right now to get to the front straightaway. They'll probably take off halfway down the back straightaway, but now they're just getting heat in the tires. But a little surprised how close together they are.
Where will they start to gap each other? I mean, will it be when they get to the back chicane?
So my only concern, if I'm Martin Truex Jr. behind Kyle Busch, and I want to get started a little bit sooner than he does, I really can't, unless I'm willing to pass him. So, but some of this may be, some drivers on a road course may feel like they do a little better job following someone. On a big track, you definitely want to do it, but wouldn't want to do it because it take air off your car and make your car not drive well. But here, maybe a little bit of having somebody to follow would be a help.
Like having a rabbit out there to chase.
And again, a reminder, if you miss the chicane, if you somehow go through the chicane, don't go around the track the way it is laid out, your time will be disallowed. So you have to go through every part of the track.
So here comes Kyle Busch, getting ready to take the green flag. Start-finish line's in the exact same place the start-finish line is for the oval. Now he's approaching turn 1.
He's got Matt DiBenedetto in front of him, not too far ahead. And I'm worried about him catching Matt before he actually finishes his lap.
Dale, I couldn't have said it any better. I'm standing down here in turn 1, and I'm shocked that these guys didn't gap themselves more. 10, 15, 20 car lengths just doesn't seem enough at over a 2-mile road course.
I think Matt's far enough out as long as he doesn't make a mistake. Matt's a good road racer. I think it'll be okay. Now, if he makes a mistake, Kyle will be all over him.
And again, the second.
Kyle loose right there.
Yeah.
Coming through 6 into 7. See that gap right there?
Oh! And big damage already to the 11.
Good damage.
So NASCAR will probably stay green right here as opposed to the oval where we go caution for these kind of events. On a road course, they'll just stay green. Same place Denny had trouble earlier today, this time for a different reason. Oh!
Just barely caught it there, but that sent him up the wall, or up the track into the wall.
Not a good day for Denny Hamlin, a guy needing to make something happen for the playoffs. Right here, he's in trouble, and
tough day for him.
Yeah.
And the laps that have been turned already, Matt DiBenedetto. And once again, Bubba Wallace spins. 4 on the spin count for Bubba Wallace.
Stay on the bottom. Bring it back to.
So that speed right there that Kyle Busch ran at 1:17.57. That's a little slower than he ran in practice today.
Eric Jones, another issue for this team. He was pretty clean in practice earlier today.
Rick, that car looks ugly on the driver's side, all scraped up.
And was that turn 12? Sure enough, take a look.
Yeah, this is rear chicane. You're rewarded for going through there with a high rate of speed, but if you miss it wrong, you're going to pay a penalty.
Move that tire barrier back off of the racetrack about probably 8 inches to a foot.
You keep moving it, keep moving it, keep moving it. It gets better and better for these other guys who go through there and have trouble. Better chance that they won't clip it and have damage with their car.
He was going to try to keep going, but with all that smoke in the car, he just couldn't do it. Wow.
A big hit.
Yeah, hey, if I'm another driver, I'm thinking, heck yeah, keep moving that thing out of the way. Bubba Wallace coming out of turn 8.
Bubba also has not had a good day. That's number 4.
When I talked to his crew chief before this session, Drew Blickensderfer said, yeah, the only good side is we haven't hit the barrier yet.
That's a great side.
Joey Logano on the clock. Clint Boyer now has the fastest lap at a 17:22.
And remember, it's going to be harder to make the second round because they only take 12. They're not taking 24. So that lap that Kyle Busch laid down at 1:17.57, I think that's safe, but I don't know if he can sit on it or not. Time will tell.
It's interesting to see where drivers can make up time on this track as well.
That's exactly what I was thinking, Rick. I just don't know if there's a lot of time to be made up on this infield section right here. While you have to be solid technically and there is some wheel spin, it's just an area, not a lot of acceleration, not a lot of decel, maybe a tenth here or there. I'm looking at that backstretch chicane, guys. That reminds me of the bus stop at Watkins Glen. That is always the key to qualifying at Watkins Glen. It appears so far it's going to be the key to qualifying here today.
See Joey Logano, he's about to enter onto oval number 1, and he's a tenth and a half off of what Clint Boyer was. Now let's see what he can do in that part of the racetrack that Steve was just talking about. He's making ground up down these long straights. Not much, though. Let's see what happens right here. A little easy getting in the corner. Can he make it up on corner exit? So he lost 2 tenths, roughly, tenth and a half, 2 tenths through there.
And it looked like a good line through there. It looked like it had good speed through there. That's just how much better Jimmy Johnson got through that particular part of the track. Who's the fastest car right now, beating Clint Boyer. Jimmy Johnson at a 1:17.14.
Wow, Blaney third.
And slow coming to the line.
Yeah,
like
I thought he was
very
in trouble.
loose. Yes.
Bowman on a good lap here. Getting out to turn 16, 17. Oh, he drives it in there, but still missed. He still made the curb.
Locked up the right front.
Still had the good apex.
And he's fastest.
That's a good job.
Good job, P1. Fans on.
Really good job.
So, Junior, my question is, at what point did Alex Bowman know he was going to make that corner? Because I was worried.
So here's a driver outside trying to help the crew put the car back together. At least, I'm sure, to get out there for at least a lap.
While this is going on, A.J. Allmendinger went to the top of the board, fastest lap run so far this weekend. Daniel Hemrick, second.
What a great run for Daniel Hemrick and a big day for him. Announced earlier today that Daniel Hemrick will be driving for Richard Childress Racing in 2019. He will drive the 31 car.
So we just saw Denny Hamlin out of his car. Look at this. That's some traffic back here. Denny Hamlin working on that deck lid. They're allowed to tape things on. That's all the repair you're allowed during qualifying is tape the car up however you can. You're not allowed any tools. I think why that's important, guys, is this is not an impound. There's practice again tomorrow, so they just got to get a lap. Even if it's 25th, 20th, any improvement is going to help the 11. Even if they don't move forward, that'll help him where he starts, help him with pit pick. So at this point, any time is better than nothing for the 11 car.
Crew watching the clock as far as how much time they have. There's 17 minutes to go in this session.
And this traffic, I mean, it looks like these guys are out of the way, but that right there is bothering Almirola. Those cars that he had to go around the 31 car in turns 9 and 10, he had to go around the high side of that car instead of running the shorter distance. So this is bothering his lap. It's costing him a little here and there.
It's the sight lines of this racetrack. It's very hard to see. Almirola 12th. It really is. I think from a visibility standpoint, it's probably the hardest racetrack that we go to as far as being able to see the next corner. And then you add on top of that cars in front of you, that's another distraction. I agree with you. I think that did hurt Eric Almirola.
Most recent road course winner, Chase Elliott, across the line, and Elliott is fourth quickest. Right now, the fastest is A.J. Allmendinger, who it was announced earlier by JTG Doherty Racing that he would no longer be with that organization in 2019. Then it was announced yesterday that Ryan Preece will drive for the 47 team in 2019.
So as you look on the board on the left side, you see Chase Elliott. He's up to fourth, but look what he did. He hit this turtle, the big turtles, and you have to wonder how much damage that did to the splitter, if that's going to affect them into the next round.
Jeff, another thing I'm wondering when I look at the top 12 currently, Bowman in third, Elliott in fourth, Johnson in fifth. Could it be a company that has dominated the mile and a half throughout their existence over the last decade or so? That's how they won so many championships. This being a down year for Hendrick Motorsports, could the Roval be exactly what they need to get 3 cars into the next round with 2 currently on the outside looking in? I would have not thought that at the beginning of the year, but looking at the season they're ahead, maybe the Roval is exactly what Hendrick Motorsports is looking for.
It's certainly an opportunity. It's a challenge. It's something different, so that creates an opportunity. Also down on the cut line, see Truex Jr., Harvick, Almirola, all those guys, they are below that cut line. They're going to have to make another run.
How about the discrepancy in laps?
Look at the 2.
Yeah.
Man, he had a big moment there. That really hurt his lap. Coming around turn 4, they're in the banking of turn 4 of the NASCAR Oval. That's actually turn 14. And
Red, no power steering for most of the lap.
Oh, wow, there you go. No power steering.
But he was actually in the green coming through that corner, so as he's coming around turn 14 here.
He said he's going to take it into the garage.
Well, guys, that's not the only damage. If you look behind the left front tire as he turns back to the right, the whole rocker panel smashed in. That tells me right here behind this left front tire, you don't see a side skirt. He's made contact with curbing somewhere around this racetrack.
And he's gotten into the blue curb somewhere.
The nose is torn up.
But he had a good lap, and so that surprises me. He didn't have any power steering running around a road course and running that fast. Kelly.
Denny Hamlin has now climbed back inside that 11 car. He was very active in getting some bare bond in that rear deck lid taped back up so they could make a qualifying effort. Denny now getting his helmet on him. You see there getting his gloves on and ready to go make his attempt.
So, we talk about a new track, guys. Another thing I was wondering, I was looking at my notes here, when you have to leave pit road to take the green, and I realized I don't know. And I don't think anybody else knows, right? So you're looking at about a minute 16 lap. That's at speed. Burton, I would imagine you're going to have to leave pit road with a minute 15, maybe even a minute 30 left in practice to even get a lap in.
Yeah, it's going to take a while to get back around. And, this is a defining moment right now. You think about where this team is. They have a lot of ground to make up. Can this team get enough done without earning stage points? So if this car is not fixed well enough for Denny Hamlin to go out and get a good qualifying effort, does this make it even harder for them to make the playoffs? But if they do a good job of getting it fixed and he goes out and lays a lap time down, they end up starting at the front, I think that's a huge win for this team. This could be a defining moment for this team and their opportunity to get in the playoffs.
Jeff, if this car ends up in the top 12, I'm not sure this guy right here would touch the ground walking in the garage. He'd be so excited. I mean, talk about a shot of momentum.
I spent a lot of time this weekend with Denny Hamlin, and he said his major focus right now is getting this car to be competitive. He said that, yes, the playoffs are obviously important, but the position that he's in right now, he wants this team and this car to be competitive because he sees his teammate, Kyle Busch, go out week in and week out and contest for wins, and he says they haven't been in that position. And he said that is his major focus right now, is making sure that this team, this 11 team, is focused on going out and being competitive and trying to win races. And they better hurry because if they have to go back out for a second lap or run a couple laps, Denny Hamlin,
let's take a lap right here.
Watching.
Jamie McMurray going into turn 1. Show you fans what the corners are for this racetrack. There's 17 of them. That's turn 2. Jeff, down into turn 3, a real difficult corner for the drivers. Sweeping corner, turn 3, and then turn 4.
Well, turn 4 is up. It's like you said, a sweeping corner. Going to use all the racetrack out by the grass going to turn 4. Now turn 5 is the beginning of a pretty slow corner. And also look at the elevation change. Way uphill. Now turn 7 is very slow. Back to the left, downhill, coming to turn 8, which will lead them to what we would consider turn 1 for the oval.
Yep. This will be turn 9 and turn 10. Oval turn 1 and 2. Turn 9 and turn 10. Full throttle, accelerating through 4th gear. Down the back straightaway coming up on turn 11 and 12, which is a chicane. They're going to downshift into 3rd gear only. It's a really fast 140-mile-an-hour chicane.
Jamie McMurray looks pretty smooth through there. Now turn 13. Heading to turn 14, which is going to lead us right into this front straightaway chicane. Real rough right there. See a lot of left front brake lock up. A very tight corner. Used all the racetrack back to the start-finish line. Jamie McMurray, 8th fastest.
Saw damage on the 2 car, and we got some video maybe seeing how that was created. Yep. You can't see it because of that barrier, but there's some of the blue curbing right there. And Dave.
I was going to ask you guys to help me on car anatomy. Where is the power steering pump? And Steve Brad Keselowski said, I would only think we could do something with it if maybe the belt had come off.
Yeah, so basically the pump's right on the front of the engine. It has a drive like just under your street car at home. When you open the hood, there's a bunch of belts, oil pump, alternator, power steering. And if the belt came off, in the race you could repair it, but in qualifying you're not allowed to raise the hood. So they're going to be stuck with whatever they have. As we see Austin Dillon entering the chicane at speed right here, currently 37th. And in front of him on the lower right, you see Denny Hamlin's time tracking. He's on the racetrack trying to make a lap in that somewhat wrecked automobile. Kelly?
Austin Dillon told me that this track would be a lot of fun if it was not a playoff race. He said he'd much rather be racing the oval this weekend. But just before the start of this qualifying session, he went and had a word with his teammate Daniel Hemrick. We'll see if Daniel is able to offer anything that can help him out here. Hemrick second quick.
Well, here we are around with Denny Hamlin. You heard Steve say he didn't think he could make a lot of ground up in this area. So that tells me this lap isn't going great because he's a half a second behind A.J. Allmendinger, but room to make it up right now, leading down into the rear chicane.
But if aerodynamics is going to hurt you anywhere, Jeff, it's going to be here, the fastest area of the racetrack.
I agree. Also, I think it'll hurt you downforce trying to get the car slowed down to go through this chicane. And plus, he's had so much trouble through that chicane. How much confidence can he have driving it in there?
I'm so surprised with Daniel Hemrick up in second place. He's had a lot of laps this weekend driving an Xfinity Series car.
Hamlin had his hands full all the way through.
Another lap?
Yeah, I think he'll run another lap. I think you just got to get into a rhythm. No, I think we'll see here. Yeah, he's still going. No, he's not.
Also back around 8.5.
8.5 minutes left in the session.
Forward down.
That's what he's asking.
You could see his hands, how much his hands are moving as he went through with his old 3 and 4, 13 and 14. He just did not have any security in the car. I think that's to Steve's point. Aerodynamics are going to matter the most in those parts of the racetrack. This team's digging themselves a hole that they're going to have a tough time getting out of.
Well, a couple of them that were already in holes, including the 11 of Denny Hamlin and Eric Jones, they've already had issues. They've already had issues in this qualifying session. And again, Denny Hamlin's just coming back to pit road. The 20, though, just took the green and will be working on a lap here.
And remember, Eric Jones was second fastest in practice. They had a really good practice. His first lap out, he had trouble. You see the damage on the left side of the car. So you see right now, it's just a little bit off where Joey Logano is.
And again, Logano is 12th. That's who makes it into round 2 of qualifying, the top 12.
Chris Buescher's on a good lap. Half a second up on Logano. Chris Buescher coming in the final few corners. Get through there pretty comfortably.
This lap might be the fastest of the session.
Lost a little bit on exit, but Chris Buescher 5th.
And that pushed Joey Logano out of the top 12. Kyle Busch 12th. Eric Jones, really nice job down the back straightaway and through the chicane.
I agree, that was great. Coming up on the final couple corners, man. It's tough through here, Jeff. It's technical.
And they are going to...
Oh, he does a great job.
Good job.
Yeah, he gained a lot of time there.
They're going to need to send Kyle Busch back out.
It's not safe, though. Coming to get the green. This shows you how important it is to carry speed to the green flag. Eric Jones hustling this car just to get the green flag. And look how much of that curbing he's using. Car way up off the ground. Dave.
Standing by with Daniel Hemrick, currently still second on the board. How solid was that lap, Daniel?
I feel like it was pretty solid. On new tires, there's so much speed to be gained in roll speed. I feel like I did as good a job as I could in the Smoky Mountain Herbal Snuff Chevrolet. Just trying to put the lap together, and very, very happy with these guys, man. It's tough when you take a group and you pull them out of the shop and go run a race. And it's our second one together, so happy where we unloaded, and we've done a lot of good things here today, and I'm proud of that.
Other thing Daniel told me off camera was coming to that final set of turns, guys, coming to the start-finish line, there is so much reward there time-wise. You just got to go for it, but not make a mistake.
Jeff, one interesting thing I'm noticing is right now the top 7 are Chevrolets and 8 of the top 9. We talked about the limited time on the racetrack and simulation and all the different tools these drivers and teams prepare. Are we seeing something that perhaps the Chevrolet teams had right in their simulation or their simulator for their drivers to be ready for this qualifying?
I think it's a great point, Steve. I think finding a way to use all the technology available to you today is so important to making lap time. And from a driver's comfort level, having a chance to be in a simulator with it being accurate, that matters too. So you may be onto something.
Man, I remember the days when people said that video games and simulators weren't worth nothing. I was telling people for 15 years how helpful that was, and now all we do is praise the ability to be able to use the simulators and get laps in these particular situations when you don't know the track at all.
You used to get in trouble for playing video games all night. What do these people know?
Yeah.
Hey,
Just
Steve,
sitting up studying.
I've got a number for you, Steve. 116.
Yeah.
That's the number from pit exit to the green flag. So that's how much time folks have. So you watch that clock at the upper right as it gets down. If it gets below 116 and someone hasn't left pit road and needs to get a lap in, they won't make it around.
Are you guys surprised Kevin Harvick, 19th fastest?
Absolutely.
I really believe he would be a guy that would be a threat for the pole today. Here he is coming through the chicane.
Him and Martin Truex Jr. both. I mean, Truex Jr.'s won 2 out of the last 3 road course races and finished second in the other one. So seeing some guys that just ain't quite figured it out yet.
Kevin apologized to his crew. Sorry, guys, but Rodney Childers came right back and said, well, we could have done some mock qualifying runs that might have gotten you a little bit closer. Not to say they didn't do any, but they maybe could have done more.
Well, another guy I'm surprised is Kyle Busch in 13th, and I'll give you a little secret guy. My fantasy team needs him to run again and find his way into the top 12.
You have him winning the pole, Steve?
I cannot confirm nor deny, but it would be really good if he did. Really good if he did.
Martin Truex Jr. trying to make his lap, and right behind him, this just isn't something you normally see. Cars this close together. Ryan Newman following Martin Truex Jr.
Yeah, as long as the car in front of you is up to speed. See, Newman overdriving. As long as the car in front of you is up to speed and you have confidence in that driver and its ability, it can be a help to some drivers to have that rabbit in front of them.
That showed how important turn 8 was, though, guys. He really did not get through turn 8 well. And look how much it's penalizing him down this whole straightaway, over 0.2 of a second.
You see in front of him, Kyle Busch is pulled out on the racetrack to try to improve his time.
Pretty good through that chicane on the backstretch for Martin Truex Jr.
Can you make up over 0.1 of a second in this part of the racetrack?
Over the best car, the guy that's went through there the best. I don't know if you can do it.
It's going to be close. Nope.
Very close, but he finishes 13th on the lap.
I'm surprised how tight it is. Considering these guys, the limited amount of time they had on this racetrack, I'm amazed at how talented these race car drivers are. This just shows you that this is the elite motorsports in North America.
Look at all the green, by the way, guys. Look at all the green.
Got a 116.95 on the pole and a 117.35 in 12. It's incredible.
All of these drivers tracking against Ryan Blaney, who right now is 12th. Austin Dillon has lost quite a bit of ground. Now, Menard and Kyle Busch also have lost ground.
Pagano with a really good chicane. Didn't leave the corner that great. Lost a little bit of time, but overall seemed like he gained through there. But it's just, you see what's going on down the straightaway. He just can't keep it up. Now, can he make this work?
Guys, another guy I'm watching is the 18 of Kyle Busch. I know he's not trending in the green right now, but what I'm hearing is the lap before this was disallowed for cutting the course. He must have missed one of the corners, went in the grass somewhere, so this lap's very important for Kyle Busch.
Doesn't do it. Stays 14th.
Still stays outside the top 12. It was that lap, Steve, that he had cut the course.
Well, he had this conversation with NASCAR on what cutting the course is going to look like. There's a lot of area for improvement. So this right here, I believe, is coming to the green, and let's take a look. He makes the first right-hander. Yep. Does not make the curbing on turn 17.
And the reason why they would disallow the next lap is because that would increase his speed to the line and into turn 1.
That's right.
Give him an unfair advantage.
And so with just 10 seconds remaining in this round, you see the 11 on the clock, but 7/10, now 8/10 of a second off of Ryan Blaney.
Denny Hamlin all the way down in 30th. And we said it, just not the day they needed.
Could this be a better lap, though? That would be the question. Hamlin moves up to 27th, though 3 spots. But a difficult qualifying session for Eric Jones, for Denny Hamlin, for Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, Eric Almirola, all drivers that are playoff contenders that didn't advance into the second round, including Austin Dillon, Brad Keselowski in that list. You can get NASCAR coverage when you're on the go with NASCAR Mobile. You can try out the premium features, including live driver audio, enhanced telemetry, plus an ad-free experience by signing up for a free 7-day trial. That's NASCAR. You search that in your app store or NASCAR.com/mobile. As we look at 13 through 24 here, look at all the drivers in the playoffs that are not going to advance into the next round, including Brad Keselowski. Damage to the 11 of Denny Hamlin. They'll have to go to work on that car. And the final 4. Dave.
This driver, anyway, Rick, is safely into the next round, so maybe not as much lost here, but describe your 2 laps, 2 different times in the 78 car.
Well, the first one, I think we maybe just went out a little too early, and then they knocked the tires back coming out of the chicane, so you could straighten it out more and gain speed. So we gained quite a bit of speed there on our second run. I got real tight coming out of the infield onto the big track, and it shattered the front tires there, and I couldn't get the gas down. I lost a lot of time. So if I hadn't have screwed that corner up, we'd have been in good shape. But, yeah, I mean, we only made 3 laps of practice, and to figure this place out is a little tricky. I wish we could have got another run or 2 in practice, but that's the way it goes, and we'll line up 13th and go get them.
And yes is the answer.
Shorter distance. Straighter line. Isn't that how you go faster?
It's also how you don't hit the barrier like the first guy.
Tonight here from the Roval, it's NASCAR America Fan Edition. Krista, DJ, and Junior will be bringing Michael McDowell and Ryan Blaney to the Peacock Pit Box. And then, Jeff Burton, you're part of the show as well. What are you going to be doing?
I'm Rut's chaperone.
You're chaperoning Rutledge Wood.
Yes, which I'm
grossly
underpaid for.
Well, we have mentioned how entertaining it has been since the very start of practice earlier today. Well, it didn't quit in qualifying.
You see this chicane, how much trouble it's caused. Eric Jones high to left rear tires off the ground, and Denny Hamlin just all day. This has been their trouble spot, and he just knows he's in trouble right here. Just hoping he doesn't hit something and just can't keep the right rear off the wall. Good job by those guys to get that car back out, though, and make a qualifying effort. I never thought they could do it, and great hustle by that team. I know they're a disappointing day, but
27th,
yeah,
way better than if they were going to start 40th.
Right.
And that tire barrier has moved. We mentioned about a foot, maybe about a foot more of a gap there that they'll be able to take advantage of when exiting turn 12. And the clock has started. The final 10 minutes of qualifying. Round 2 underway. A.J. Allmendinger, Daniel Hemrick, Alex Bowman, Chase Elliott, Chris Buescher, Jimmy Johnson, Kyle Larson, Clint Boyer, Jamie McMurray, Kurt Busch, Eric Jones, and Ryan Blaney, all with an attempt for the very first pole at the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval. Boyer rolling slowly down pit road. It's Daniel Hemrick, big day once again for him. Announced that he will drive the 31 next year for Richard Childress Racing.
This is such a challenging track to learn, basically from scratch. I mean, nobody's had any time here, but Daniel Hemrick's been able to come here with an Xfinity car and run, get extra laps, and I think that's had a huge effect on his ability to be competitive in this Cup car. He's in a good Cup car, and he knows this track as well or better than a lot of these Cup guys. And he's also coming out of the media center announcing such an incredible deal, when a dream come true. The guy's got to be feeling better than he's ever felt.
They're driving a 31 car next year, and
they said they don't know if it's going to be 31. Might be number 8.
Okay, well, so
in RCR talking about bringing the 8 back. I like that. That sounds pretty cool.
So the other thing that I think is huge is he's the only RCR car to make it in this round. So, hey, I'm the new guy. Guess what? I'm going to show you guys I know what I'm doing. Pretty cool.
The new guy with a team that really doesn't exist on any other race weekend. I mean, I know what it's like to have to bring a 5th race car, a 5th team to the racetrack for the Xfinity race, instead of put this team together and go compete and race at a top level, a high level in the elite series that we have. I mean, that's not easy to do. So, bravo to Daniel, but also got to give a lot of credit to the crew chief, the team they put around him, all those guys raising their game up.
Something you just said was interesting to me. You're excited about potentially the 8 coming back, a number that you really made famous?
Yeah.
You want it back?
Yeah, I think it'd be great to see the number. I mean, I love seeing this car compete with the 8 on it. It's not my 8. It's not my number anymore. But I love seeing that car. You know, love seeing the number out there. It's better than not, seeing it not compete. Where's the 8? Come on, man. Somebody get in that 8 car. Go do something. Daniel Hemrick's a great driver from Kannapolis, North Carolina. He's got connections to the hometown from my father and my grandfather Ralph. So I mean, there's some lines there. He's driving for RCR, who was, my dad's owner for all those years. A lot of connection. I'm pulling for Daniel.
And Daniel through 16 and 17, and his first lap is a 1:17.79. Let's go to the Peacock pit box. Steve Letarte, who have you gathered up there onto the box with you?
Well, you mentioned famous numbers. This guy right here drives probably the most famous number in the circuit. First of all, I appreciate you coming to join. I know it's never good to be out of qualifying. You want to be out there running. But tell us about, your lap, and tell us about this tricky racetrack.
Well, it's been interesting today. I've tried to hit every corner, I think, at least once. But we're still out there digging. We had a decent lap right there on our second run. I feel really good in the technical stuff. Through the slow stuff, I've learned enough on the simulator. It's helping me, but I'm struggling out of 8 up onto the big track and into the fast stuff on the back, the chicane. Obviously, after I hit the left front fender today on the tire wall, it probably slowed me down a little bit.
Yeah, well, you mentioned that backstretch chicane. We got a look of your effort there in practice. And I appreciate the attack, but really it looks like it gets loose in the middle of the corner. You kind of run out of real estate.
Yeah, I backsteered. That was my problem. I was worried about actually breaking loose and then catching the outside wall, kind of like Hamlin did in qualifying. So I steered back into it, and that's what happened. I caught the end of the wall. The guys did a great job fixing the car. 24 is not where we want to start, but I've been consistent on lap time, like in practice after we hit the wall before it. But it's just a tricky place. I'm proud of my teammate Hemrick, though. He's putting on a show right now, and that's really cool because we work together on the simulator, and I felt like I found some speed to him, but he's carrying it here at the track. So we'll keep working together.
Well, we see Larson right here. He's going through, I think that's 7, coming down to 8, or 6, 7, and 8. This turn 8 in my mind was going to be a simple corner, but it's anything but as he climbs the banking. What are the challenges right here for this left-hander?
It's so hard to be patient right there. You're trying to tip into the gas to carry that momentum up the hill, but as soon as those front tires go and you get a little bit of a chatter, it sends you to that outside wall. So being a patient and waiting on the throttle is really key, and I actually haven't done that yet, so I got to figure it out.
Well, then you mentioned the simulator as we see Larson go through, I think, what everybody's talking about, that chicane. We noticed a lot of Chevrolets fast here today. Yeah. Jeff and I had this conversation on air in the last segment about all the tools used away from the racetrack. Talk about that. You got to drive some in the simulator?
Yeah. We have a GM Chevrolet has a simulator, and went over there and worked hard on different parts of the track and kind of different driving styles to find speed. And we also do our setups there and try different things as far as the shocks and springs on the car. And but biggest thing is just getting used to this place. I think Daniel having the Xfinity practices, he had 4 hours yesterday, a couple extra practices today, has really helped him. And I'd love to be in the Xfinity race to see what tomorrow's going to be like.
Yeah, there's that limitation. You can't, as a Cup driver, can't run in the Xfinity race, or it would have been full of Cup drivers, no doubt. But how about Alex Bowman, another Chevy driver, first at a 1:16.8? That's the fastest lap I've seen.
That's
Question
flying.
is, who down there that hasn't run? Who's your bet for the pole? What are you thinking?
Man, that lap by Bowman was pretty impressive. Allmendinger is still going to put one down here. I was talking to him earlier. I just heard him get onto the chip into one. That means he had a good run to the start-finish line. But he reminded him of street courses that he run in Champ Car. I've never been on a street course in my life.
Yeah, you mentioned that's kind of what I thought about when I saw the wall inside and out. So as we see the 9 finishing his lap, maybe we can jump to the lap of A.J. Allmendinger. He's currently on the infield section, trending a little in the red, but you mentioned turn 8, the chicane, as we're on board with him. So take us through this. What's his concern? Climbing the hill, now he's going 6, 7, 8 again.
Well, it's a blind corner right here, and you're just trying to lay down the throttle without giving up those rear tires. I'm learning stuff right here. Right here is where I was talking about tipping in the gas and being patient. See how he got it a little bit and had to come out? That's going to hurt him all the way to the backstretch chicane.
And now talk about the chicane. Is it just attack and hope? I mean, what's the strategy?
I think it's one of those things where you lift a little early and then light on the brake. If you jam the brake pressure, you overslow it. So you got to roll speed, momentum.
And you see it trending towards the green. No doubt, A.J. Allmendinger, he's always great at the bus stop. One more chicane. Can he make up this time in this chicane?
There's a little time to be gained. We'll see. You can get good forward drive to the start-finish line. And he did. That's a great lap.
You called it. He was going to lay one down. We rode on board, and
he's mad at himself right now. He's hitting. He knows he left time off of turn 8 when he had to come out of the throttle. But that's a heck of a lap where he gained it back out of the chicane.
Yeah, now Kurt Busch trending in the green. That chicane is just, it's connected by 2 long straightaways. So any sort of issue is going to kill yourself. Here's the 42. You mentioned exiting turn 8. He's going to go on.
It sounded smooth, and he's gaining time.
Yeah, versus Allmendinger, which you pointed out didn't get off there very well. So he's going to have a big head start into the chicane. The question is, can he get through there as good as A.J. Allmendinger?
I think his crew chief just told him looking good here. So, yeah, he got through there pretty decent. A little slower than A.J. there.
Now, is that info you would want? Would you want to know that on the backstretch?
I mean, it would be, I don't know. In qualifying, when you're trying to get it all, it might be enough to help you finish a lap off clean.
This would be a big statement if he can pull it off.
Oh, man! Not enough. Did he?
He did.
He got it.
He does. That's a big statement for a playoff car to go out and score the pole. Talk about this race. We're talking about qualifying. We'll see. We got Blaney. That's his last lap. I'm not sure if anybody else is even on the racetrack. What's your approach? 109 laps around the track that we've proven has, kind of traps all the way around it.
For sure.
Have an issue.
What's your approach? Bite you quick. My approach is I would love to be racing here if this wasn't a playoff cutoff race. But it is, and I got to be smart. I got to take my time, let others make mistakes around me, play the chess match to our best advantage. And our best advantage is going to be staying on the track all day, letting these other guys make mistakes because there's going to be a lot made. Hopefully I make less. And we put ourselves in the next round of the playoffs to keep fighting forward because we've been really good the last couple of weeks on these ovals. And I can't wait to get through this. Hopefully it's a positive thing that we do get through it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be the first to say I was critical on your performance over the summer. Came out great, won the 500. But since Michigan, you guys have really found something. I know it's not the same thing at every track, whether it's confidence or a setup, but it's been fun to watch. You every week seem to find a little something. Pit strategy, pit stops, faster race cars. And it's gone from who I considered maybe not a contender for round 2. Now you're above the cut line, a definite contender to advance.
Yeah, and this is kind of throwing the wrench in that whole part of it. But like you said, we've just steadily gained from Michigan on. We found some things in the car to make it better. The pit crew stepped up at Richmond. We've done a good job of execution, and that's all you can do and all you can ask for in the playoffs like this.
Well, this is going to be Kurt Busch's last challenge right here. Chris Buescher, how do you get through the chicane? It looks kind of average, not gaining or losing. I'm not sure there's a half a second available in the final chicane and make it. There's a half second if you miss that last
He got
curve.
really loose off of 4, and I think that kind of killed his speed. But he's been pretty good all day leading up to this point. He probably just tried to get a little aggressive out of 4.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect example. Ooh.
You can kiss the wall right there pretty easy.
So 10th place position right there. Pole sitter Kurt Busch for the cut race. Hey, man, listen, I can't thank you enough for come down here, spend some time. You were just out there explaining this track to the fans.
Yeah.
They're in store for a great show Sunday. Good luck tomorrow getting your car dialed in.
Yeah, we're going to work hard tomorrow in practice. Thanks for inviting me up. And hopefully Sunday, when it's all said and done, we're going on to round 2.
There you have it, guys. Austin Dillon trying to get some practice in tomorrow and advance out of the first round of the playoffs. And your pole sitter, Kurt Busch in the 41.
Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Big weekend of racing from the Charlotte Roval. Tomorrow on NBCSN at 3 p.m. Eastern. Make sure to join us for the Xfinity Series playoffs, as well as on Sunday on NBC. Monster Energy Cup Series will take to this Roval. That coverage starts at 2 p.m. Eastern, and it will be led by the 41 of Kurt Busch. Kelly.
Yeah, the first ever pole winner here on the Charlotte Roval course. Kurt Busch, how do you like making that note in the record books?
It's pretty special. I mean, any inaugural event is fun to go to, and you just try to learn as much as you can through testing, simulator work, and then watching others. And you know, we had a plan going into that. I'm really proud of Billy Scott. I'm glad it stuck and it worked, and we produced the 2 laps that we did. And I'm just real proud of everybody on this 41 car to come into a unique situation like this. I mean, there's nothing that's ordinary about this. Everybody's talking about this, everybody's talking about that, and I just said, you know, just go have fun with it and try not to slip too many tires, because you're going to slip, but just try not to slip too much. And I'm glad our setup worked. Now we got to go to work on race trim. We got to make sure we protect our tires for the long run.
One of the first guys to come over and congratulate you was A.J. Allmendinger, who you nipped to get the pole win. Did you know it? Did you know that was the lap there when he put it down?
I thought it was good. I didn't know we'd be a pole car. It's just you're trying to weigh out where you slip and if it costs you a lot of time. And, of course, I circled Allmendinger, the 47 car. I circled him. He's a street car, IndyCar driver on the street courses. He knows about bumps, turns, twists, curbs, getting the most speed. And I've been around the world to race some cars, but a lot of stock cars. And I was like, you know, just try to roll with it and see if it has a flow to it. And then when I saw, I think it was Bowman, posted a good lap, I'm like, all right, this is for real. We're getting down into the 116s.
All right, well, congratulations. Enjoy. Speaking of A.J. Allmendinger, he's standing by with Dave.
Well, that was a near miss for AJ. Where do you think the time was lost?
Here, and then that corner, and then the next corner. You know, it's part of the way this place is, and it's what makes it fun for me. I kind of relive Champ Car days. It's like a street course, so I can nitpick and say I lost a little bit in every corner, but I could have tried to find that little bit and been in the fence as well, and that's what this race is going to be all about minimizing mistakes. We've seen it in practice. One little mistake, and you're going to tear up your race car. So, yeah, it was close, but in practice I was terrible and was not very happy, and Trent and all the boys went to work on this Kroger Clickless Chevy, and yeah, I'd love to say I could have got a little bit more, which I felt like I could have, but starting on the front row is going to be a big deal here, and I mean, hell, I got nothing to lose. I got no job, so might as well go steal a win.
Going to ask you if perhaps, given the week that was, this would be a good thing to take home a top finish this weekend.
It doesn't matter whether I got a job or not. You win a race, it's a big deal.
Are your expectations any different at this track, AJ, because it's so unique compared to the other road courses?
No, I mean, it's, Kurt Busch is a hell of a road course racer. Kyle Busch, he was fast in practice. Whatever happened in qualifying, I'm pretty sure he's going to be driving to the front. So the guys that can wheel it on a road course still go out there and do it. So it's just unique. I think this is a place that you can't make any mistakes because you pay a big price for it. And we're going to see a lot of action on Sunday, so everybody better tune in.
Outside of the front row, AJ Allmendinger.
And A.J. Allmendinger pointed out about 3 different areas where he thought he lost a little bit, so a little disappointed. But the front row, A.J. Allmendinger and Kurt Busch for Sunday's Charlotte Roval 4. And coming up next is NASCAR America Fan Edition, and we have had some great ones already this year. I know you guys are going to be a part of it.
Go figure. You show up late, you crash the party, steal the chips.
Junior should go sign the bus, right?
I'm signing the bus.
Oh, Junior, there we go. Junior
on the same page, man.
There you go.
If you come to the racetrack and you're not wearing a racing shirt, you're a closet Kyle Busch fan.
This guy right here is a huge Richard Petty fan. I'm a huge Richard Petty fan. We got something in common. Yeah. Dargan. And then your friend?
I'm Kurt.
I'm Kurt. I am Kurt. His arms or my legs? Which one's whiter?
Which is whiter?
My leg.
Okay.
I win.
All right, you win.
They've never seen the sun. They're like black lights.
That's the Flintstones right there, baby. That's the Flintstones. See how I did it? Burton, spot for me. Spot for me. Oh, no,
Joey
he didn't. Oh, yes, he did.
He did it. Oh, wait, I feel like we have to stay here to see what happens.
It's hot.
Okay, we'll be coming to you guys from
Is he gonna-
the infield care
is he
center
gonna throw
or the
up?
restroom, whichever comes first.
Rutledge, by the way, did drink about a gallon of water after putting that away. Breaking news, Denny Hamlin's going to have to go to a backup car after what we saw in qualifying. And I don't think it was any surprise. We saw guys get out of shape again, get into the walls, get into the tire barriers, and hit the curbs or turtles on this racetrack. We've seen it since practice. We've seen it now in qualifying, and that is normally single file. What happens when you put all 40 cars out there and they're fighting for position?
I don't think we know. That's what's fun about this weekend. We don't know. The Xfinity race tomorrow is going to teach us a lot, but I don't think they're the ones that want to be teaching us what's going to be happening because we've seen so much chaos. I just don't know how it's possibly going to get better when you start rewarding someone for needing to pass a guy in front of you. I just think it's only going to get worse.
Yeah, these guys don't have experience racing on this track, so they don't have experience understanding where and how to pass people, and the guys getting passed also don't have the understanding of when to give. When can I challenge for this position, or when do I need to give up this position? So there'll be some disagreements that'll result in some bent fenders and some hurt egos, and I think we're just going to see more and more and more as those guys get out on the track and there's actually something on the line, points, money, things like that. The guy to win the first race at the Roval, just like Kurt Busch said, it's a proud moment for him to win the first pole. Well, same for winning the race, so those guys are going to be out there beating and banging for it.
And these guys with the track, they're checking out all these curves that they're bolted down. They're checking them out, make sure they're still there, and then also checking out that wall, how well it stood up. These guys are going to be busy. I mean, they've tested here, they've done all these things, but this is the first time that all the cars are here in competition, and they're going to have to stay on top of this stuff. This is they've done incredible work, but there's still a lot for these guys to learn as well.
Let's go to Kelly.
Standing by with crew chief on the 11 car, that's Mike Wheeler, and as we just announced, your announcement, you guys are going to have to go to a backup car, so how much of a setback is that?
Besides starting the back, not much, honestly. The guys at the shop built another duplicate car for us. We'll start with a brand new engine and a whole new driveline. So a lot of work for the guys. We'll be here late tonight and early tomorrow morning, but obviously just start over tomorrow.
Denny's been one of the best in the business on-road courses. Why do you think this one's kind of catching him out so much?
I don't know. I think he just started off on a bad foot, and we had the excursion off in the chicane. That bent the nose up a little bit, and then just trying to catch back up. I don't think these things happen when you're trying hard and you're trying to give it all you got. These things happen. So we'll start over tomorrow.
All right, this team's got a lot of work ahead of them. Thank you so much, Mike, for your time.
Yeah, a lot of work in front of him, and it's because of what happened all day today. This was in practice earlier, and it was the same turn.
See, he was really the first guy that we saw that really hit one of those turtles and do a lot of damage.
And qualifying, just as soon as he goes out, gets in trouble in the same corner. The back of the car with the outside wall, and they did repair it, which I think was really smart. Not for the fact that they could go out there and run, but for the attitude and morale of the team. Get it put back together, go back out there, make laps, run some decent laps, feel good about yourself after the way things have gone today, and hit the reset button.
So today there are 16 drivers that are in the playoff contentions. 4 of them are going to advance into round 2. Look at where some of these drivers are starting, though. Denny Hamlin starts 27th. Eric Jones, and he'll actually go all the way to the back because of what they just said they're going to bring out the backup car. But Eric Jones starts 12th. How about Austin Dillon starting 24th? I mean, a lot of guys that are on the right side of that graphic right there that are starting further back.
Well, if you're Clint Boyer, Jimmy Johnson, Eric Jones, you had good days. But if you're going to make yourself into that top 12 to get to the next round of playoffs, who are you going to knock out? So right now, Austin Dillon, 24th. He's got a lot of work to do. You start looking down that field of who's going to have to do a good job to keep the guys from behind coming and taking their spot away. But there's pressure coming. There really is, because all 3 of those guys, Jimmy Johnson, Eric Jones, Clint Boyer, they're all good road racers. And they're going to apply some pressure. And, how will Austin Dillon respond to that? How will Eric Almirola respond to that? It's going to be – this is a tough race to have a cutoff race. This is a very, very difficult position for everybody.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, but looking at Austin Dillon throughout this qualifying session, he seems like he's in a decent, frame of mind about it. It doesn't seem like he's very nervous about the situation. But all those guys qualified well outside of Austin. And you would expect that everywhere we go. Who do we see run up front? Well, it's all the guys in the playoffs because they're good. And so it's really going to come down to minimizing mistakes. And we talk about the racetrack and how many mistakes that these guys could potentially have out there. We're also got pit road. Uncontrolled tires has been a big issue here lately, things like that. So the pressure's going to be on the teams as well.
I think to me what's so compelling is that when I look at who needs to get higher up, you got Boyer and Johnson sitting there in 6th and 7th. Well, think about playoff points. Think about if you earn 5 playoff points in the first stage and 5 more in the second stage, that deficit that you are behind of 13, 14 points has been cut down by almost nothing. So I don't know that Dillon can just ride around and not get playoff stage points. I think that could have a huge factor in who can transfer themselves into the next round.
One playoff driver who's going to feel pretty good about starting in the top 10, starts 9th, is Ryan Blaney. He's with Dave.
Ryan Blaney will start 9th on Sunday. How would you describe your first, I would say, fiercely competitive laps here on the Roval?
Yeah, I didn't get many laps in practice earlier today. That was a long day. I felt terrible hitting everything out there, and I felt really bad for everybody working on it, but I can't thank them enough for working on it and getting it back to where we could qualify and have a decent run. So appreciate their help and support. But yeah, I thought our second round there was decent. Thought we were a little bit better than the first round, and I gave up a little bit in this last chicane here. And I was kind of, it's hard because big track 3 and 4, you're kind of trying to get wide open and seeing where you can get the most time and speed, and then all of a sudden you're on the brakes really hard. And if you're not right on the line, you're kind of pointed the wrong direction. So I messed that up a little bit, getting greedy, but it's a good recovery for us. It was a long day before that, and like I said, I can't thank this 12 group enough for helping out, and hopefully we'll have a smooth day on Sunday. But we got a full day tomorrow to test, and Menards and Pennzoil, Body Armor, everybody who helps out. Just we need every little bit to keep this car together today. Hopefully we can keep it together.
So many new tendencies to get used to on the Roval.
Interesting. Hopefully we can keep it together. And one guy who kept it together for a great lap, the first pole, is Kurt Busch. Yeah, first pole at the Roval. Junior, you've got to get down to the Peacock pit box.
I'm out.
We'll hear you in just a little bit.
Now that's eating good in the neighborhood.
and a special NASCAR America Fan Edition. That is coming up next from right here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, the Roval. And Krista and DJ are hanging out ready. In about 10 minutes, they'll take over, but let's get a preview of what we're going to see.
Yeah, just waiting for Dale Earnhart Jr. to make his way down
got
here.
His stuff right
we've
here.
We've got his
Waiting
paperwork,
ready. Yeah.
and some drivers are going to be joining us. But I know you were up early to watch Ryder Cup coverage. When you got up early this morning, would you have predicted these top 12 drivers?
No, I could have put a few of those in there, not in the order that they came out, but no, that's what's so great about this are all the unknowns and seeing these drivers. I'm not into seeing them struggle and have difficulties, but it is something a little different in watching them try to navigate this. The prospects of thinking about 40 cars out there is just amazing to me.
Well, could this be a race where it's usually that a playoff driver wins a playoff race? But we have some drivers up there. Jamie McMurray, Michael McDowell is going to come join us in just a few minutes. I mean, this could be an opportunity race for them.
Yeah, it might not be that situation that whoever wins is going to move on into the next round. They might not be a part of these playoffs right now, and that's a very real possibility. Good road racers that we see there. How about Daniel Hemrick, the job that he did? I know he didn't get the lap in the second round that he wanted to, but he's been outstanding. So I think it just opens up so many different things to watch throughout 109 laps that they're going to try to navigate around here. It's going to be a long afternoon. It sounds really short, but I promise you from the driver's seat, it's going to be a long afternoon.
Well, I would need to give a shout out to AJ Allmendinger and Chris Buescher as well. Those are some of the non-playoff drivers who had good qualifying efforts. So we're sitting here, but in the infield, there's a whole lot going on. Is that where we find Rutledge Wood?
Krista, you know what? It is. And guys, I'm just going to say it because I care about him. I think Parker Kligerman, I'm not saying he's a liar, but he may not be a truth teller today because all day long he said this is where he was going to be later, what he called the panic patio. You can see we got a great view here. This is probably going to be the fan favorite bar all weekend. We're down here outside of turn 3 as they're going in here into the infield. But in this infield, Krista, there is a lot of fun waiting to be had. And coming up in a few minutes, Jeff Burton is going to come down here and join me for a little NASCAR America Fan Friday. But I think he's still up there. Dale, there's, of course, a place for you. And, Krista, you're welcome. Really, anyone's welcome to go. What I can tell you is we're going to have a good time. We're going to make some new friends. And you know what? Have a few laughs. That's the goal here. It always works out, and I'm wearing jeans, so Jeff Burton does not have to be nervous about my outfit. The jorts did not make the trip from Talladega, from Darlington. But we're ready to go, Krista. It's going to be a lot of fun here this Fan Friday in the infield.
Hey, Rhett, where on your shirt is the panic patio?
It is right. If you look right about here-ish.
Okay.
Yeah, I can almost see myself on the shirt. They were like, yeah, he's going to probably be right there.
That's awesome.
Dave, are you?
Everybody needs a shirt.
Absolutely.
Isn't Dave down here somewhere?
Where's Dave?
I don't see you. Where are you, buddy?
No, I'm in the garage. I'm looking at what happened to Eric Jones. The good news is, as bad as all this looked, it's purely cosmetic. And I want you to notice how well he did this. That Jones boy playoff emoji, untouched, perfect condition. The iconic 20, yeah, a little bit of a scrape there. The Bistro took a little bit of a hit down on the bottom side, but the best news of all, the baked mac and cheese, untouched. They'll buff this out, they'll get it all straightened out, and Eric will be good to go for practice tomorrow.
Did Rudd say not total truths? I believe something.
All I heard was he's not wearing those jorts.
and we're thankful for that. The Fan Edition. Big weekend from the Roval. Tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern, it starts on NBC Sports app, and that is Monster Energy Cup Series practice. Then qualifying for the Xfinity Series. That's on CNBC, as well as NASCAR America. And final practice, those will both be on CNBC as well. And at 2:30, countdown to green on NBCSN. And then the first race from the Charlotte Roval, the Xfinity Series. And it is a playoff race right there on NBCSN at 3 o'clock. And Jeff, we saw practice earlier for the Monster Energy Cup Series. Many incidents as far as spinning, guys getting off track, guys hitting the wall, hitting tire barriers. We also saw it in qualifying. Is that something that you have to have just more track time, which we're going to see tomorrow, to learn this track a little better?
Well, I believe that this break between the end of qualifying and the start of the next practice is huge. I think the teams are going to get smarter. They're going to have a lot of data they can apply to tomorrow. The drivers are going to get much better. They're going to have a chance to communicate with each other, look at data. So I think that it's kind of a reset for a lot of people. And guys that didn't run well today, I don't think that means they can't run well tomorrow. So it's going to be interesting to see
who is learning right now as he was watching A.J. Allmendinger make his way around the track. It's time for NASCAR America Fan Edition. Krista, DJ, and Junior
and I thought, okay, I'll make a few adjustments and I'll find that speed that I needed, and just wasn't able to get the car to do what I needed it to do. And so that's the biggest thing, is as you transition through these chicanes, as you see through here, high commitment, you're laying it all on the road there, and it's a matter of inches. And this is a very, very demanding racetrack from the standpoint you got to be aggressive and attack it, but you only have a few inches on the exit. So as we saw in qualifying with a couple of the cars catching the wall there.
Hey, I've talked to a lot of drivers, and something I said the other day that somebody asked me where I thought the best place to pass was. I said when somebody spun out, go by them. But do you see good passing opportunities here, or is it just going to be trying to make your way there this first race here?
I think there's a couple passing opportunities, but more than anything is when the tires start to fall off. If you can be in the mirror of the guy in front of you and you get them to swing a little bit wide, and that's what happens. Everything compounds through this racetrack. So if you miss it by a couple feet, the next corner is a couple more feet, and that's when you'll get that opportunity to have a hole, kind of plug your nose in there and take the spot. I think it's going to be more of that, forcing somebody into a mistake and then taking position. The infield's tight, twisty, but it's slow enough speed that you can take a few chances and get wheel to wheel without jeopardizing too much.
You mentioned something about tire fall off. So this is a brand new surface for the most part, and a pretty durable hard tire. Where are we getting this tire fall off at?
I'm not sure if it's just heat related or where or what it might be. Today with the shorter practice for us at a road course, didn't really make long runs, just making a few adjustments. So tomorrow we'll really see. But here at the test, we went through several different compounds of tires, and I think there's just the curbs and some of the more abrasive curbs that we're not used to. Normally we have those concrete curbs that have been smoothed over for years, and now we have these big plastic curbs, and the tires seem to respond a little bit different. But I think more than anything is the tires still build, they still get heat, and they're still good fall off. Whether or not they'll recover is going to be the biggest question. So what I'm saying about that is the caution comes out. Is that enough time to let those tires cool and stay out and maybe not put tires on? I'll be watching closely tomorrow that Xfinity race to see how the tires recover.
Yeah, we talked about that might be the most watched Xfinity race.
Yeah,
drivers that aren't in it. I think everybody has talked about it, and we've seen a lot of things happen back on the chicane towards the end of the back straightaway. I think they envisioned too wide back there. We were back there yesterday, and you might put two cars back there too wide, but trying to
my goal is to not go too wide with anybody all weekend going into that the chicane on the backside. And the main reason is that if one driver decides that they're going to stay committed, that's it. You're not going to run side by side through there. It's going to be a game of chicken, and I'm hoping that at the end of the race you're in a big enough gap that you don't have to play chicken with somebody else.
Yeah, I think it's going to be similar to the chicane at the backstretch of Watkins Glen, where the decision in the past is kind of made before the corner, before the chicane. So you pretty much have to, you guys are going to have to learn through the practice tomorrow, but mainly through the race, through the Xfinity race, watching that, and also your own race on Sunday, where the passing zones are, where you're going to have to say, okay, you've got the pass. It's your
right.
And are you seeing where the passing zones are yet? Are the drivers talking about that yet?
You try to visualize it while you're out there, especially when I was at the test, because you want to work on your car and your handling in those areas where you think you can pass. And so I really thought about it during that test, where are the few areas that you can do that. And the Xfinity race can go one of two ways. It can be really calm tomorrow and we not see any craziness, and then the Cup race will be out of control, or vice versa, which I think the Xfinity race is going to be super exciting. There'll probably be a lot of carnage, and that usually calms everybody down for Sunday. So you just never know, and like you said, you just got to pay attention and be a student throughout the weekend and watch. And then when you get into the race, you'll find that rhythm and you'll find those spots. And for everybody, I think it's going to be a little bit different. I don't see a lot of side-by-side going into that final chicane, though.
Michael, I was reading an article in the Charlotte Observer, some things that you talked about, and especially racing in the playoffs and against drivers that are in the playoffs, and then your motivation to just keep going. I think a lot of people out there and fans may lose sight. It's no different than it's always been when people were racing for a championship, but now we talk about the playoffs so much. But racing around those people, the respect that you give them, I know you do that, but still get accomplished what you want to is a real balance that you have to make.
And it's a very difficult situation, especially at a course like this where we anticipate at Front Row Motorsports have a little bit more speed than we would on a normal weekend. We hope to be in that top 10, and if you're in that top 10, you're going to be mixing around with playoff. And it's a tough spot. You want to be aggressive, you want to go for it, but you don't want to put somebody in a bad spot. You don't want to have an entire championship come down to a mistake that you made. But we got our own race going on as well. We're racing for what we set our goals out at the beginning of the year, and we still have a lot to achieve. And so you're not going to give anything up, but I do take extra care when I'm around somebody that's in the playoffs, and it's a tough spot to be in, and on Sunday it's going to be a really tough spot here in particular. Talladega, places like that, it's just it's an interesting format for the guys that are not inside the playoffs. But to the end of the line, if I have an opportunity to win a race, I'm going to go for it. And but if you're running 15th and you're 3 wide going in that final chicane and you got the 78 and the 18 around you, you might think about backing out. You don't want to be in that story. So you just got to risk first reward and be smart, but we still have a lot to accomplish as a team, and the year's not over, and we hope to get that ball rolling this weekend.
This year's been pretty interesting for you guys. You guys have shown out at a lot of races, had a great qualifying and a great run going at Daytona. Good qualifying effort today. This is something we're seeing quite often from you guys throughout the season, is sort of outperforming people's expectations. What's the state of Front Row Motorsports right now and going into next year?
Yeah, it's been great. It's fun to be a part of that. It's my first year with Front Row Motorsports, so they're having a great year, one of the best years that Front Row's had with improvement and performance, and it's just fun that I get to drive it on this year that I fell into it. But yeah, it's been great. We have made great gains all year long. A lot of that comes from our partnership with Ford and with Ford Performance, allowing us the technology to make advancement in simulation and engineering support, and then with our alliance with Roush Fenway as well, and everybody at Front Row Motorsports, and Bob Jenkins' commitment. He's spending a lot of his own money to be out here and to be competitive, but he's committed to the sport of NASCAR, and he's given us the tools to go challenge for those top 20s. We kind of kid about it. At Indy, I was racing side by side with the 48 for 17th on the last lap. If you would have gave me a bottle of champagne, I would have sprayed it after the race. You'd have thought I'd won. And I know he's getting out of the car like, oh my gosh, this was terrible. I was racing the 34 on the last lap. But for us, for us to have top 20 runs on those big ovals where it's big horsepower downforce, to have runs like that has been really great. And my teammate David Reagan has been an awesome asset for me. Being on an island the last few years by myself, not having somebody to really look at data and talk about how we go about the race weekends, and he's been awesome to be a teammate with, and obviously a lot of experience as well. So it's been a lot of fun at Front Row. We're enjoying it, and hopefully we'll keep progressing.
Well, you are a driver a lot of people should pay attention to for Sunday. I know DJ will, because you're on his fantasy line.
All right.
Yep, got
you're
you right
already there.
Yep.
Well, with that poor qualifying, I might help get some passing points or something for you, right?
Whatever it takes.
All right, good.
Find yourself inside that top 10 somewhere, and we'll both be extremely happy. How about that?
We could do it in the K-Love Ford this weekend. We got a shot at it.
All right, Michael McDowell, qualified 18th in that number 34, as he said, K-Love Ford. Thanks, Michael, for coming over, spending some time with us. We're having a lot of fun here on a Fan Friday. We're not the only ones. Rutledge Wood is having a great time, too.
Krista, when you're cruising around in the infield and you want to find something fun, sometimes you can see a vintage car like this and it'll change everything. Suddenly, I came over here, I met my new pal, Jerry. Jerry, you bought this thing in 73?
Yes, sir.
And how many races have you been to at Charlotte with this truck?
Every race since May of 66. Of 73. It's been to every one of them.
Everyone with this truck?
Yep. Yes, sir.
That's unbelievable. So you know this guy across from us, don't you?
That's a couch man. I know him. I don't know him personally, but I do know of him, and he does a great thing, especially in May for the troops.
That is so cool. Let's show you who Jerry's talking about. Jerry, thanks, buddy. I love your truck. So when he's talking about the couch man, hey, brother, we're talking about, really, guys, I think this might be the idea behind the Lego movie. If you have kids and you've seen it, maybe if you haven't, it's a great time to check it out. This is 1 to 18 people. Let's make it 19. We're going to climb up here. Here we go. We're going to talk to the couch man. You guys might just want to move that way. This is going to get exciting here in a second. Oh, yeah. Oh, there we go. There it is. Listen, is it true that you are the inspiration for the Lego movie? I mean, they got the double-decker couches from you, I think.
No. That's a cheap payoff. I never got no money. I never seen a check. I never seen a check.
You know what's weird is with the Roval, we're always used to seeing you right over there, aren't we? I mean, you are a legend. When people see the cars go into turn 1, the Couchman is right there with them.
Yeah. Well, we got a problem with that because I was 15 on the list this time. I should have been about 3 or 4. So I don't know where these other people were, but I wanted some of these spots up in here, but I didn't get them.
Well, you know what, Marcus, I'm sure Marcus is watching. We're going to make sure you get bumped up on that list because you again, the Couchman, you are a legend here every year.
This is a killer spot.
It is.
Because the cars come down, they go out. They said today, some of the people said from the top of that hill to where they go back on the road course is a 70-foot drop. So they drop 70 foot going through these. You can see them go up over there and just cock up.
It's crazy because when you look at the infield and how they've changed it, did you have any idea it was going to be this crazy to watch?
No, I never thought this. I thought, well, when we had the circle, we was good.
And they said, listen, we'll just give you most of the circle, a lot of the infield.
Yeah, give some of the circle, take some away, give you what you're going to get, you know. But it's just been funny. We've dealt with what we've got. And when I called in, I got this whole row here, which was 9 spots. I got 11 on this spot because I got 20 spots in the infield.
That's how many you got?
Yeah. Plus I got 2 more. Plus I got 2 more down there. I sail under the table. Nobody knows about.
We got secret spots. Bill, you are a wild man. Well, did you know when you first started showing up to the races that you would become the Couchman and everybody would know you, want to come hang with you?
No, never thought that. Never thought that.
I mean, do you know any of these people? They look like a lot of fun, but I can't tell. Did they just show up when they saw you pull up here?
Well, yeah, we had to get relocated this time, so we're not down there. So we're trying to get everybody to get up here. Well, with the access and this and that, it's really been crazy.
It has been crazy, hasn't it? Well, guys, there is so much fun. I mean, for the record, we can see Stroker Ace playing on the big screen. Bill's here with the couches. Jerry's got his truck. And Jeff Burton, it is reported that he is on his way down here to the infield with us. Thanks for having us. Maybe I'll see you Sunday.
Take care.
If you got extra room for me to watch, I'd like to come join you.
Well, we'll find a place for you. I'll call somebody for you.
You will. You're a good man.
I'll call somebody.
I can see Jeff Burton. This is going to be a great time, Krista. Hold on to your hats.
I'll call somebody for you.
That is fantastic. I just don't think Couchman realizes that we're on national television when he says, I've got secret spots. They're not a secret anymore.
He's got a couple under the table that he sells. I've never heard of that.
No.
Yeah. I mean, the man's got 20 spots in the infield. Goodness.
Leave it to Rutledge to get that kind of information out of somebody in the infield.
And
he probably knows how much beer he's got and everything else, too. So.
Pretty interesting character.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. So they're just, he has koozies. He's
got his own hat.
His own koozie.
He's got a hat on, says Couchman.
Yep.
He even signed it right there for Rut.
That's a signature.
Yeah. Incredible.
All right, so that's just a little bit of what Rutledge, that's like a taste, just a sample of where what Rutledge is going to find here over the next hour. So we can't wait to see what happens when Burton. And we're also going to talk about qualifying. You know Kurt Busch. AJ Allmendinger are excited. That's your front row for Sunday.
How you gonna roll tonight at Golden Corral's Beef Lovers Banquet with carved portobello top sirloin and golden delicious shrimp? Oh, wait, now that's what I call a strike, baby. Every night at the Beef Lovers Banquet, victory never tastes so great. Golden Corral, your choice. Rules.
I wish you weren't so worried about moving.
I'm hoping these nature sounds will help me relax a bit.
At least we don't have to worry about homeowners insurance. Just call Geico.
Geico helps with homeowners insurance? Good to know.
Feeling better?
I love you, Pookie Bear.
I love you, Pookie Bear.
I love you, Pookie Bear. I love you, Pookie Bear.
Get to know Geico and see how easy homeowners and renters insurance can be.
This could be the hardest working tool in the shop. They really get the grease off. The secret Bond Buster, an additive that breaks the molecular surface bond. Check this out. Permanent marker. It comes right off. Try that with any other cleaner. Tub of Towels does this with no harsh chemicals. Every wipe comes out of the can 100% solution soaked. Take the challenge yourself. You'll be amazed at what you can clean.
Let's face it, some things just don't play nice together. Cats and dogs, Hatfields and McCoys, nitro and glycerin. But all those got nothing on these two. Because it doesn't get more explosive than Ravens Steelers. All eyes on the rivalry. All eyes on Sunday Night Football.
It's a noisy, chaotic, confusing world. If only everyone could see it more clearly. Separate fake from fact. If only we all understood what's really going on. The world needs another Economist reader. And now you can try The Economist in print, free of charge. Visit free.economist.com, call 1-855-500-0015, or text Economist to 99000.
At touchofmodern.com, things you'd never think possible are totally attainable. The shoes are handmade, the furniture glows, the drones fly themselves. And that's just the beginning. Our relentless pursuit of the highest quality in watches, fashion, tech, and home are available all in one place. touchofmodern.com. We bring something new and unexpected to your life every day. So go to touchofmodern.com and be the first to discover all the novel and noteworthy items the world has to offer.
No. I'm not. I'm going to stick to my current shaving routine, I believe. No, I'm not growing any playoff beard or mustache. I want to be lightweight and aerodynamic. I have a lot of pressure from my 5-year-old right now to shave the beard. I don't know if you know where I drive, but we are very clean cut, so there's no playoff beards coming my way. I get away with my hair hairs as is. I don't want to push the envelope. Maybe I'll do a mustache, like my emoji or something like that. I'm going with the clean cut excuse because it sounds a lot better than I can't grow a beard. Yeah, tune in to find out. Sunday.
He's doing our promos for us. Ryan Blaney joins us now. And yeah, you heard Joey, though, teammates say you can't do it, but the emoji might be a good way to go with Ryan.
Well, that's why I did the emoji. so you have that option. But that looks like a little bit older me. And
you had some input on this, I heard.
A little bit of input, yeah. So I made some shirts, and that's kind of part of the shirt. I thought I wanted to do like a funny comic book themed t-shirt, and that was part of it, so we decided to do it with the emoji as well. So it was about half and half. People who liked it and thought it was funny, and people who thought it looked terrible. But
well, that's not bad if you get 50% of them like it.
That's better than most things.
Yes.
Usually it's less than 50% of people who like it.
So driving for Roger, he won't let you grow a beard? So for judging from Joey.
So it's, yeah, I said it there as I get away with my hair on my head, and I can't grow a very good beard like you or Dale, and you guys can both do that well. And mine's splotchy. I need about a month to do it solid, so maybe in the off-season I'll go mustache. I'm not a big beard fan. I'm more of a mustache guy.
And Hendrick, it was always unspoken rule that you had to have your shirt tucked in, wear slacks, clean shaven, and you just kind of break the rules a little bit at a time, not all at once.
Right.
And then by about the third or fourth year, you're doing whatever you want.
Right. Ask for forgiveness, not permission. Right?
Yeah. Are there going to be rules broken here on Sunday in this race?
There's going to be rules broken. There might be a lot of parts and pieces broken.
Parts broken.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I know a lot of people watch practice. I know you guys did, and it was really, really hard. The racetrack is so. One, it's slippery. There's not a lot of grip there. It's really tight. There's a lot of parts that are really narrow, and there's nowhere to really run off. Like right here, we're at the exit chicane on the backstretch. That tire barrier was so close, and you're trying to get so much speed, and I just barely clipped it. At the time, I didn't even know I clipped it. I just thought I hit one of those blue rumble strips, and it did a lot of damage. You've seen some other drivers hit that and clip it, and it really just grabs their race car and tears it up. So it'll be very interesting when we have 40 cars out on the racetrack for sure. So tomorrow's race should be fun, and Sunday's race will be there'll be a lot of people who I think are going to really enjoy watching it from the stands. So.
You ended up with a really good qualifying effort. I mean, did that surprise you, being able to go out there and put down such a good lap after the trouble you had today in practice?
I wouldn't say surprising, just kind of relieving. I messed up enough today in practice. I felt really bad for the 12 group for making them fix a lot of stuff, and man, I felt awful. And you go back and you have a few hours before qualifying, and you kind of look at some things where it can be better. We didn't make a mock run in practice, and I only got like 7 or 8 laps, so I didn't have a lot of time, but luckily we got it fixed up really nice, and we're able to work on it really well. And I thought I actually could have been a little bit better in the second round, and I messed up the last chicane over here. It's so tough going from the banking onto the flat. It's really rough, and you're hard on the brakes and downshifting a couple times. But yeah, it was nice to kind of clean things up, and it makes me feel better when I can do a better job, because I didn't do a very good job today in practice.
Playoffs bring a lot of pressure, extra pressure. I know that as a race driver, you perform every week with pressure, but trying to move through to the next round on something that nobody's raced on, have you given it a lot of thought, or do you just look at it, hey, I go do my job and we'll see where this shakes out?
I've always kind of been let's just go do our jobs. Let's not really worry about anybody else, even though that's hard to do, because you're worried about people when you're in the spot that we are at the cutoff race. And having to have a really good day and beat some really fast cars here this weekend, it's kind of hard to just focus on yourself, but I feel like that's when our team does the best job, is when we can just do our own thing and not worry about the other drivers. But they are in the back of your mind, just because you have to outrun those guys and try to beat them to advance and have a shot at a championship. So you try not to let it consume you, but it's always in the back of your mind.
What are the things that you can do to prepare to get ready for this race, not knowing this track very well? What are some of the things that you can do outside the race car to sort of slow up that learning curve a little bit?
I think, all the data we have now, the SMT stuff, you can literally go and pick any car you want to watch, and you can watch their lap, and it's pretty accurate. The lines and throttle and brake traces and shift points, that part has helped a lot. All the drivers use it during practice, in between practice and qualifying.
In between qualifying rounds.
Yeah, oh, for sure. People use the heck out of it. So it's crazy. That's really the first year we've had it. Usually, it's just dartfish. And here it's almost like dartfish, but you can follow your car and pick other cars, and you get to see throttle and brake traces. So that part has helped, but no one's raced here before. Yeah. So it's
what about simulator?
Everyone's learning. We did do a lot of time in the simulator. I didn't get in it this week, but before we came and tested here about 6 weeks ago, we used it up a lot. So that's been a great tool for everybody, I feel like. But watching the Xfinity race tomorrow, I think that's going to be really good to see how everyone races, kind of where passing zones are and stuff like that.
When you think about Cup races and the length of a lot of them, we talk about 400 miles, 500 miles, 600 miles here you ran on the oval. And fans may look and say, oh, well, this is only 109 laps. That's going to be a hard 109 laps, isn't it?
Oh, for sure. For sure. It may seem short, but it's going to be a lengthy race, that's for sure. And especially how difficult it is to get around here. How many turns is this place? 17. Yeah. And I don't know what that is times 109, but that's a lot of turns, a lot of places to mess up and make mistakes. So you just want to run all day. I think that's the biggest thing is don't beat yourself. Don't take yourself out of contention. And you just hope you're in a spot towards the end of the race where you can try to advance and make the most out of the situation you're in. But yeah, it'll be a long day, especially for us driving it. It's a tough place, like I said, and when it's such a tough racetrack like this, it feels like it's a really long race. Darlington is the toughest racetrack I think we go to, and it's such a long race. It's a long race time-wise, but it's a super long race driving it. You guys know, just because it's so hard and you're focused 110% every single lap. So.
Yeah, we're seeing in testing a lot of guys have trouble in turn 3, downhill to the right. Yep. But we didn't really see much issues at other parts of the racetrack. What are some of the other more difficult parts of this racetrack that you're seeing today?
Yeah, turn 3, I actually wrecked there when I tested here. Because like you said, it's kind of an off-camber right-hand turn. There's not a lot of grip, and you want to arc out a lot into that corner because that's what you're taught, is to get the best arc into that corner, and you can't do it. I don't know if it's just dirty, slippery, or whatever. So you're kind of straight into that corner, and your car is really light. So we've seen some trouble in 3. Turn 4 is really tough trying to get back to the gas. Honestly, 5, 6, and 7, that's a really difficult place because there's so many elevation changes going there. It's really hard to see on TV how much you go, you climb a hill, then you drop down in 6, then you climb back up it in turn 7. Those parts are really tough. We've seen a lot of troubles in the backstretch chicane. because there's so much time to be made up there that everyone is trying to brake a foot deeper every lap, let off the brakes, a car length quicker every lap, and trying to get back to the gas. So I think those are the biggest problem spot you'll see, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the chicane and the backstretch.
We've talked to most of the drivers, and I talked to a number of the Xfinity drivers today about passing opportunities, but if you get down to the last lap of this race and you're needing a spot from the guy in front of you, do you have somewhere in mind, or are you're going to have a better idea of that once Sunday plays out a good bit? But if you had to say right now, do you think you have in mind where that would be?
Not yet. You said it best. I think once you get racing on it, and we'll watch the race tomorrow and kind of see where drivers are trying to outbrake each other or good passing zones, you can get a runoff. I think one of the best spots is off of turn 8 when you go back up onto the oval track turn 1, because that's a really long straightaway to try to out drag race somebody. So if you can put the throttle down there, and it's tough because the corner forces you out to the wall. And so if you can kind of keep your car turned and pointed and be able to run the line, and if you have a little bit of position going on into the chicane on the back, you hope that you have the spot. It'll be pretty difficult if 2 cars try to run in there side by side. The bus stop at Watkins Glen is really tough for that, and you see cars wreck there all the time, and there's a lot more room at Watkins Glen than back there. So
how do you think restarts are going to be going down to turn 1? Everybody, nobody's going to have to go through the chicane, so the whole field's going to be heading into turn 1 with the potential to make passes. And
we're sitting here on this box, and I'm looking right at turn 1 where we're going to go, and I don't know. I don't know. It's hard enough to go through their single file, and then on restarts is going to be really, really tough. And I think one of the big problems is if there's a problem off of turn 1, there's nowhere to go. Like it funnels in.
Like if with this wall here, can you see around turn 1 very far?
Not really.
Right.
Not really, especially when you're looking at your apex of the corner, right? That's what you look at when you're going in there. And so you can't really see off of turn 1. There's walls and barriers there. And then off of turn 2, there's an inside wall and an outside wall. You can't see anything.
So blind in a lot of places.
A lot of blind spots. And then what'll be interesting is we're sitting on pit road right now. Pit road exit ends at the original pit road exit. So you have a lot of racetrack to try to go, and you can't see the cars that are in between 1 and 2. So if you're racing somebody and someone's coming, that's going to be a funnel effect. Road
yeah,
it's going to surprise you.
In the middle of a battle.
Yeah, you're going to have to be okay with your spotter. So hopefully we stay away from that. But there's a lot of calamity corners for sure, and it should be really exciting to watch and be a part of, and just hopefully we stay out of that chaos.
You were talking about getting down off of turn 4, the old NASCAR 4. It's basically turn 15, 16, 17. So coming down onto that transition out here is very, very bumpy.
Yeah.
Guys are locking up left front tires, which is the outside tire.
Yeah, it's crazy how that happens. So, you've done the hot pit road entries for the All-Star race before. It's almost like that. Yeah. But you're having to slow down a lot sooner. Granted, maybe you're not going as fast, but this is a road course setup car. They're not meant to do that. And it is really rough. It's hard to just stay wide open through 3 and 4 the way it is. Your car is kind of moving all around, and it's rough down there. And then really as soon as you turn off the track is when you're hard on the brakes. So, transitioning, turning, and being that hard on the brakes, they all don't really go well together. They always upset the car, and then you're trying to downshift twice. So that makes it really difficult. So that's where I actually messed up qualifying. I wasn't pointed in the right spot when I got on the brakes, and it kind of got me offline. But it is tough, especially if you have a chance to try to outbrake somebody in that corner. It's going to be tough to do. It's tough enough by itself right now. And like you said, I've seen a lot of guys lock up tires or blow it and just run through the infield grass.
Yeah. So far, that turf's holding up pretty good.
The turf is great.
It's going to get more tests, too.
It will.
Yeah. Good luck with all of that. That's what we're just talking about anyway.
It took me this whole time, by the way, to do the math. 109 laps, 17 turns, 1,853.
Wow.
But it took me that whole time.
And she didn't use her phone.
I didn't. You saw me down with the scratch paper.
Yeah.
But it took me the entire interview to figure it out.
I was wondering where you were. You didn't say anything. Your mind was on the map.
It was that, and then stroker ace is over your shoulder.
Yeah.
So it was stroker ace in my math equation.
Yeah, he was born to race, man.
Yeah. So thanks. You always come over and give us some of your time here on NASCAR America. So thanks, Ryan Blaney. 4 points above the cut line, trying to advance into that next round of 12. So last we had Rutledge. He was with Couchman in the infield. Rutledge, where are you now?
I wish I was closer to Ryan Blaney since he has the best emoji hands down. But you know what? I have found another one of my favorites. I found Jeff Burton. We're over here at the Motel 8 is what it says right here on the nose. Instead of their classic tagline, we'll leave the light on for you. Over here, they'll leave the Bud Light on for you. Jeff, are you having a great time so far on Fan Friday?
I have to admit, I wasn't listening to Blaney's interview because I was watching Stroker Ace on the big screen. That had me... it's hard for me to focus on more than one thing. I saw Stroker Ace, but you guys have been coming here forever. You brought the bus here forever. Tell me about your story.
Okay, we've been coming since 1987. Davey Allison was our true first driver that we really loved watching. Years ago, I was able to do a heart scan on Davey, and I've got the photo, the ultrasound of Davey's heart scan here, so it's very proud for us. Joey Knuckles is also a very good friend of mine, and we would love for y'all to vote for him for the Hall of Fame, to get him in the Hall of Fame. Davey made it this year. Let's get Joey in the Hall of Fame.
So when they call you Doc, that's true. You are an actual doctor.
No, I'm a Navy corpsman.
Oh, okay.
That's my nickname by the Marines. So I spent time with the United States Navy and the United States Marine Corps, and now I do veterinarian work. I do ultrasound on veterinarian animals and stuff.
You must know my family, as many pets as we have.
Everybody does. Well, thanks for your service. I got to know, how did you guys make it all happen with this fantastic bus?
We went to Raleigh and bought it for $1,000 at the bus barn back in 2000. And once we got it back to Charlotte, I have some friends who are carpenters, so they did all the carpentry work. Then I have some friends that are mechanics. They did that kind of work, and then we had some painters. So I know the paint has faded a lot, but we're getting ready to wrap it, and we're going to do a Davey Allison scheme.
You're going to wrap the bus?
And we're going to do a number 28.
Wow, and I'm going to guess it's going to cost a hair more than that $1,000 that the bus barn did.
Yes, sir, it will. But that's okay. We're doing it because we love NASCAR.
And you know what? We should give a shout-out to the sign gal who did all the hand lettering on here. She did an amazing job.
She did an amazing job, yeah. She's from Lucia, North Carolina. So if you guys know of a sign, everyone to touch base with her, she does a great job also.
So when you wrap this bus, you have to wrap it so that it's vintage. You can't make it all nice and neat and clean. You got to have a vintage. It's got to look like it's old.
A little patina, if you will.
Yeah, we should probably put some tire marks on it and stuff like
there
that.
You go.
You know, that kind of thing.
Doc, you know what's interesting? We all call Jeff the mayor, but in this minute and a half, you have campaigned for a friend to make the Hall of Fame. We've given 2 shout-outs to local businesses. I think thus far you might be the new mayor of the infield here with the Roval.
Awesome. We'd love that. All right. Yes.
I mean, they were formerly the Oval Nuts. Now they added an R, and now it's the Roval Nuts.
What's for dinner tonight? I see the grill. You got the big grill out here. What are you cooking for dinner?
California tri-tip from Coronado, from the United States Navy base. It's phenomenal. You need to come back and get you some.
Who said we were leaving?
Have you had tri-tip before? Definitely more popular of a cut out west.
Are you going to... do you have big jalapeno peppers? Because Mr. Rutledge would try one.
We can make that happen.
Okay, so he's in for that. He's in for that.
Brett, you see that picture behind you?
This picture here?
Yeah.
Of this incredibly good-looking dude?
That's Dad when he drove for Bud Moore. That's him. That's the hardest he'd ever leaned on a Ford, because if he leaned on it any harder, it'd blow the motor.
I mean, what a and for the record, look at my man's running shoes. Like he made tough look good.
Let's ask Dale Jarrett when they started wearing actual driving shoes.
Oh, gosh, I drove for a long time before I ever had
tennis shoes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, there's a lot of nostalgia, and your cabinet friend did a great job. Jeff and I got a lovely tour.
We did.
I feel like
we invited ourselves as usual.
We did. It's the right thing to do, but there's so many people down here that seem to love the Roval. Have you guys enjoyed it so far?
Awesome. It's been wonderful. I'd have to give a shout out to my friends from Florida who they couldn't make it, and they gave me this spot. I'm usually on the fence over there.
Yeah.
So they gave me this spot to put the bus in here. So
While you're at it, why don't you give a shout out to the boys back at the shop? You got your sponsors in. You got your guy got you the spot. So you need to give a shout out back to the boys.
For the tri-tip.
Yes. The Thundering Herd. The flag behind you is Marshall.
Yes,
give a shout out to the Thundering Herd.
Oh yeah, the Thundering Herd, Marshall.
Oh, yes, we are Marshall for sure. Yes.
Great pick, Krista. I don't know why you guys aren't down here, too. We can move the pit box. You know, it's on wheels.
Oh, do we have time? Yeah, there's 25 minutes. Let's do it.
Come join us. We'll get the tri-tip going. Burton,
Okay.
You want to go see some more stuff?
Let's go.
Guys, we're going to keep exploring, but if you come to the infield, come say hi to Doc. Check out the Motel 8. They'll leave the Bud Light on for you.
Okay, so far we've heard from Doc the Mayor and the Couch Man, and we're just halfway through the show.
Yeah.
That's pretty solid.
That's awesome. All right, so we're not even close to being done yet. We'll see what else is in the Roval infield. There's Stroker Race on the big screen, so we have that going on too.
Shrimp is on at Red Lobster with all the shrimp you want, any way you want them. Try new crunchy Fiesta shrimp, tortilla chip crusted and topped with a creamy blend of 3 cheeses. Favorites like garlic shrimp scampi are back too. So hurry in before Endless Shrimp ends.
Dave's dream car. Of course, he prefers the pearl white to the cherry red. But you can't fit 3 kids and a dog who's prone to car sickness in a sports car. Yeah, Dave's had to compromise a lot lately. But not when it comes to cutting the cord. Fubo gives him all the sports he needs, as well as all the shows his family loves. Don't compromise. Get over 100 channels, plus Showtime and Cloud DVR included. Visit FuboTV.com.
Hey, allergy muddlers, are you one sneeze away from being voted out of the carpool? Try Zyrtec. It starts working hard at hour 1 and works twice as hard when you take it again the next day. Stick with Zyrtec and muddle no more.
We give every Honda ATV and side-by-side the technology you need to seize the day. Class-leading technology like automatic dual-clutch transmission. Exclusive to Honda, the DCT lets you ride in automatic mode or manual mode, so you get sporty off-road performance and workhorse muscle all in one. And now you can seize the day and seize the deals with factory-to-dealer incentives on the Honda ATV or Pioneer side-by-side you've been waiting for. It's all happening at the Honda 4-Wheel Clearance Event, going on now.
Your sandwich, sir.
In the NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs, these drivers are out to make their name.
We ain't going down without a fight.
Crazy, fast, and risky.
Who can adapt, who can overcome, and who can handle the pressure the best?
The one who forges it into history will be the one who lays it all on the line.
Oh, my God. What a weekend for a sports fan. And then you throw in SNL there on Saturday night. If I got up tomorrow morning, like the same time I did this morning, start watching golf, then I might be up like 40 straight hours or something between everything going on. But it's going to be pretty cool.
You saw some good stuff, though.
Yes, and the Ryder Cup. How about this shot from Tony Finau? On the 16th hole, they were dead even in their match. And watch this, Junior. You can't do this. This hits off the wood right there. It looked like it was going in the water, but hits the edge.
Wow.
And goes up on the green like 3.5, 4 feet from the hole. He makes birdie, and they win their match 1-up. Pretty cool stuff.
Incredible.
Never know what you'll see from these guys.
Yeah, the Americans took a 3-1 lead in the morning session. The Europeans swept the afternoon. Coverage of the Ryder Cup continues Saturday on NBC. Big event weekend. All the good stuff. Sunday Night Football, of course, NASCAR playoffs here at the Roval. Okay, what do you think Rutledge is up to now?
I don't know, but I'm sure we're going to enjoy it.
We're gonna just, yeah, well, I don't know what we're, Rutledge, where are you and who are you with?
Krista, it was like the bat signal went out, and what we saw, Jeff Burton and I saw in the sky, we're like, someone got a new job, and so we followed it over. And who did we find, Jeff?
Mr. Hemrick.
And you were talking about a great sports week on NBC, is it? Nothing compared to this. What is this you're playing?
Yeah, that's my Mooresville natives over here. I'm not exactly sure, but we were cruising around and giving away some Smoky Mountain herbal snuff. And they were having a good time, so I figured, why not? I've had a good day. May as well cap it off with these guys.
$20, Ruck can't make it.
Oh, just like that. Steve, which can you want to pick
He's
here?
double it.
Take the front one.
Front one it is. All right, Daniel Hemrick, $20. You got to match it because you got a job. Oh,
we're up 40.
That's what I'm talking about. I get a shot,
Listen,
right?
Oh, yeah,
no
you get a
pressure.
shot.
I mean,
you get
we
a shot.
already know you're
Boom.
plans for next year.
So what else we got going over here? We got big Jenga going on.
Look at you.
Look at this. Full-size Jenga.
Oh, yeah. There it is. Oh, I'm sorry. Daniel, you're going to have to just walk with us. Here, I got you these beads.
It's a little sketchy. That's a little sketchy.
Did you?
Come on. Come on.
Guys, do you hear that? Shh.
Jeff
It's a dragon.
You didn't shoot.
It's very rare in these parts.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Burton, you didn't shoot. Or is your shot that bad?
How can the Big Duke basketball fan not shoot there? Burton,
All
come
right,
on.
all right. I got to go shoot.
Yeah,
I got to go shoot.
I think that's what happened. I
gotta shoot.
I think your
What is
teammate
this
got
game called
scared.
that you guys are?
Let's see Bert shoot here, see what kind of shot he's got.
Come on, let's go. Let's put the
See if
pressure.
I need to
Oh,
invite
hold
him to
the
the
mic.
basketball league.
He said hold the mic, Daniel.
Oh,
Boo. Come on. No, you're supposed to get it in the
That's
cans.
why
There's
the reason why
Not even
It's
close.
supposed to go in the cans.
Not even close.
This is for people that like beer.
What is this game called?
I think, Krista, this is... Oh, raindrops!
What is it? What is this game called?
From Mooresville. I think this is essentially beer pong.
I got to redeem myself.
yeah.
But with trash
I got to
cans.
redeem myself.
And so obviously it's a lot better. It's a lot easier if you've been drinking, which you guys haven't.
There we go. That's a penalty?
Dale, the commercial breaks are
Back to
long.
that.
That's all I'm going to tell you.
That's been a lot.
Backstretch the cane too fast.
It's an hour-long show.
You had a good day,
All right,
huh?
and you,
Yeah, man, it's a
and
good
if we
day. It was
call
fun to have speed on both sides of the garage,
We
and
get to.
first time I've experienced that, so try to take it for what's
I'm
worth.
not going to call it. I just want to get...
So you
Oh,
announce
Nice.
you're going full-time cup racing next year, and then you come in the infield, hang out with the fans. I mean, what's you're having a great day.
Absolutely, that's what it's all about. It's cool to be able to take the time, right, to come through here and see the people that allow me to have a job now, next year, and support our sport. So it's cool to be a part of this. These guys, like I said, they were having a good time, and look forward to actually getting to race the rest of the year. I got everything planned for next year and ready to roll on with it.
All right, so the main test tonight is I know you're a real racer, but I need you to prove it to me. I need you to tell me what is happening on Stroker Race right now. If you cannot tell me what scene this is in Stroker Race, I'm going to question your...
Who is on that dining room cart that's being slid around there?
Y'all really putting the pressure on me here.
I'll give you a hint. He has a mustache there.
A mustache?
Look
He's
who
our
it is!
coworker.
Look who it
I have no
is!
idea who that guy is. Yeah, I think he's from the same hometown I am. Is that right?
Where are you from?
Kannapolis, North Carolina, baby.
Well, you're half right.
Dale Earnhardt, of course. Come on.
Who's the other guy with the stash and the great hair?
I don't think he matters. Does he? Does he matter? We're talking about Dale Earnhardt.
Kyle Petty, if you're watching, I am so sorry. Daniel didn't know that was you.
Which, by the
Don't
way, to
listen
be
to
clear,
those.
that is as short as Kyle Petty's hair ever was in that movie.
Ever.
That was the
That's
shortest
when
ever.
everybody called him a hippie, said he had to get a haircut.
Hey, Rutledge.
Yes, Krista.
We know. Oh, go in there. Okay, we know because we saw the big screen. But where on your shirt are we? Because that's just my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
It's my favorite game to
where
play.
on my shirt, Daniel, are we currently?
We are currently. Oh, golly.
Right there.
We're currently right here. Right here. Do you hear the tire dragging?
Oh, I love the game even more now.
Hey, when people ask you, why aren't you and Rut closer?
We're
Just
gonna
think
fight.
to yourself, because I'm a bully. Daniel and I are going to bro out because he can point to a map without assaulting me.
Is it just me or is this track bigger right here? I'm just kidding.
Well, Krista, hot shot here. It is medium shirt or all in a job for next year. And Punchy's having a great time. I wish you guys were down here with us.
I know. But listen, we still have about 15 minutes left, Rutledge. Where on your shirt are you going next?
Oh, that's a great question. It looks like we're heading to Perspiration Alley.
Where's that bar? Where's that bar?
Through it. We're going to go find the bar. Get out of here.
Oh,
Oh,
There's
no.
more to come, Krista.
Watch out.
Oh, no. I feel like we shouldn't leave because I kind of want to know what's going to happen. But no question, Daniel Hemrick's having a great weekend so far. He's a great qualifying effort in the Cup race. He's racing for an Xfinity Series championship. More from Fan Friday next.
The best ideas come from solving common problems. My problem, like a lot of other men, I couldn't find a shirt that looked good untucked. So this became my passion, to design a shirt that captures the perfect balance between length and fit. Easy to say, not that easy to do. But with some innovative design changes, we did it. Our problem, my solution. Untuckit.com.
Some restaurants say you should drink your meals. Well, America deserves better. At Hardee's and Carl's Jr., choose from a variety of full-flavored all-star meals starting at $5. Get a real meal. Paid for by Hardee's and Carl's Jr.
Today's Best Western rewards you in a flash. Get a free night pass with points that never expire at over 4,200 hotels worldwide. And get double rewards points on every stay. Book now at bestwestern.com.
That's the one. Aw, dog. Well, don't worry about it. We have tub towels here. It'll take it right off.
Is that going to work on leather?
Of course it's going to work on leather.
It's a good thing I have a whole tub of these. You're going to be here all day, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, get out of here.
It doesn't matter who you are or where you are, whether you own a fantasy team or America's team. On Sunday nights this fall, it's all eyes on. Because this isn't just a game. This is Sunday Night Football. This is where Odell became a bird.
How in the world?
Oh, my goodness.
Everyone, and I mean everyone, is watching. It's all eyes on. Sunday Night Football. Sponsored by Verizon. Not just unlimited, Verizon Unlimited.
Kevin here says Mobile One annual protection is proven to protect for 20,000 miles.
It'll save you a lot of time. Dad, with all this extra time.
Sorry, buddy. Kevin and I have a tea time at 11.
20,000 miles guaranteed. Mobile One annual protection. When heartburn hits, fight back fast with Tums Smoothies. It starts dissolving the instant it touches your tongue and neutralizes stomach acid at the source. Smoothies, only from Tums.
Your microwave doesn't need another frozen meal, and neither do you. Only Carl's Jr. and Hardee's bring the heat with a variety of full-flavored all-star meals starting at $5. Get a real meal. Paid for by Carl's Jr. and Hardee's.
Wednesday night hockey kicks off with an action-packed doubleheader. First at 7:30 Eastern, the Washington Capitals raise their first Stanley Cup banner before hosting the Bruins. Then at 10:30, the Anaheim Ducks visit the San Jose Sharks. Wednesday night hockey begins this Wednesday on NBCSN. Our big event weekend goes into the middle of the week, I guess. Here's a look at our schedule tomorrow from the Roval here at Charlotte. It all leads up to Xfinity Series playoff racing at 2:30 Eastern here on NBCSN. But stick around after the race because we've got the premiere of NASCAR Decades the 90s Part 2.
Oh, favorite TV show, Saved by the Bell.
Saved by the Bell was a good one when I was younger.
And Living Color was awesome in the 90s. Fire Marshal Bill was fantastic.
Beavis and Butthead's classic. I mean, who didn't like that?
At my house, I wasn't allowed to watch Beavis and Butthead. I kept getting in trouble for watching it.
I can't even watch them without thinking of Brad and Joey. Joey and Brad next to each other, and then the photo of Beavis and Butthead, it literally is Brad and Joey. And when Joey laughs sometimes, it looks like Butthead laughing.
Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski can carry on normal conversations apart, but the moment that they see each other, it's just like, oh. I saw your car, dude. It caught on fire. Fire!
You guys are laughing.
Well, that's so true. I thought that was really funny. I feel for Rupp because I wasn't able to watch that at my house either. I would go to my sister's to watch it. Oh, yeah? Yeah, but because I couldn't afford cable. But that's a whole different story. I can't wait for that show. I saw the first half of it earlier today, and they do such a great job on it. I mean, it's always fun to look back.
Yeah, when you're kind of a part of it and you're sitting there talking about these things and trying to relive part of that and then see how our talented crew puts all of this together, it's just amazing. So a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing this.
Well, and the thing with the 90s, it doesn't feel or seem like it was that long ago. And then you talk about some of the things, you're like, oh, yeah, that's not even around anymore.
They had the lead singer of the band Sponge, and a lot of people might not know who that band is, but they're a big band in the 90s, and I was a huge fan of theirs. And so pretty cool to get people from other parts of pop culture from the 90s to talk about NASCAR and things like that. So that was really neat.
All right, so that's coming up after the Xfinity Series race tomorrow, but we still have more to come here on Fan Friday at the Roval. The Ferris wheel, there it is, every track. Junior, you said.
They had the Ferris wheel at Vegas. They got it here.
I know. We're bringing Ferris wheels everywhere. And who is that guy?
Look at that.
Who is that guy? More from Rut next.
So you just walk around telling people Geico could help them save money on car insurance?
Yeah, that, and homeowners, renters, motorcycle and boat insurance.
Huh. That's nice. What happens when you catch a fish?
Oh!
Geico. More than just car insurance. See how much you could save at geico.com.
I'm okay!
If you're craving roast beef, go to the roast beef place. If you're craving a Reuben, brisket, loaded Italian,
Ignore your instincts and go to the roast beef place.
Arby's, we have the meat.
for sandwiches.
The F-Pace, the SUV with the heart of a Jaguar. Experience the F-Pace for yourself at your Jaguar retailer.
If you're craving roast beef, go to the roast beef place. If you're craving a Reuben, brisket, loaded Italian,
Ignore your instincts and go to the roast beef place.
Arby's, we have the meat.
for sandwiches.
It's a noisy, chaotic, confusing world. If only everyone could see it more clearly. Separate fake from fact. If only we all understood what's really going on. The world needs another Economist reader. And now you can try The Economist in print, free of charge. Visit free.economist.com, call 1-855-500-0015, or text Economist to 99000.
Most people don't know that pharmacy prices vary wildly and that insurance isn't always your best bet. GoodRx is an easy way for Americans to save up to 80% on their prescriptions. You type in the name of your prescription, you find a coupon, and save. GoodRx works at virtually every pharmacy in America. This year, we'll save Americans over $1 billion on their prescriptions. There's no membership required with GoodRx. It's totally free, and we don't need any personal information. Go to GoodRx.com to see if you can save on your prescriptions.
Here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, normal to see crew chiefs out there kind of maybe checking timing lines, but we saw the pole sitter Kurt Busch out there just a few moments ago.
Yeah, it's a little different to see that, but it's a completely different. Yeah, pit road's the same to this point, and then you got to make a hard left, but knowing exactly as a driver where that last timing line is, I think that they're looking at to make sure that you don't make any mistakes. Once you get past that, then it's kind of wide open from there until you join the party again.
That's why Kurt Busch is on the pole. That's why he's successful, is because he does the little things and doesn't leave anything unnoticed or undiscussed, untalked about. So no surprise, really, to see those guys down there trying to figure out every little advantage or disadvantage about pit road and where they should pick their stall and so forth.
Well, Kurt's not the only one doing some work right now at the track. Some cosmetic maybe fixes. We've seen the tire packs, the wall, the turtles, if you will, all the things. So they're doing a little reconstruction out there.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them alter a little bit of some of these things that they're doing over there in the chicane as they learn from what's happening to those parts and pieces as those cars make contact with that barrier and so forth. They'll make adjustments to make it better for everybody, not just the track, but got to deter those guys from cutting that part of the racetrack. But also got to make it so that they, get through there safely.
Yeah, get through there safely. I'll have to say, when we were out there yesterday and looked at that, I thought that some drivers might hit that and move it. I had no idea just going by it was going to do the damage that it's done to a few cars.
That we've seen, a handful of times. So I know in the meeting this morning, Rutledge and I were both writing down the same word. They have a forklift. Just for that purpose, Rutledge.
Krista, every day is an adventure here. I can tell you that. The day has been really fun. Jeff and I, for the record, it's a lot like turning a light on your porch on a summer night. We will find things that are going to attract us, and that's currently what we did.
I wonder where you were going with that for just a moment.
Jeff said, let's go find something cool. So we found this bus, hand-painted. Mom was in the bus. There's Mom. She painted
right there.
it. Right? And you guys are from Rock Hill. How long have you been coming out here to Charlotte?
I'm 48, been coming since I was 17.
Wow. Wow. And is that Sundrop in there?
It's Sundrop and Jack Fire. So
that's new. I don't even
I
know.
heard fire.
I heard fire and Sundrop.
How about the Roval? What do you guys think?
Are you enjoying the Roval so far?
Love it, man. Love it. I come out here for auto fair and checked it out, walked around, man. But yeah, this is awesome. I like it.
Did you know there was going to be as much kind of insanity on the track as we saw today?
No, man. That was just awesome. Being able to walk right there to the gate, man. We love it, man. We appreciate it. Really do.
That's awesome.
It's a big deal. Dusty, can you give me, I don't want to put you on the spot. He's from Spartanburg. Can we get just like a little bit of wheelie? Can you raise it up for us one time before we go off air? Yeah, any way you want. I saw Dusty just wheeling across the track, and I asked him if he could just give us one. You know, for everybody at home, Jeff is very good on a bicycle. He's going to do a wheelie after Dusty, I think.
Look at Dusty
Look at
go.
my man. Raising it up.
There you go.
Hey, Jeff, by the way, we only have 30 seconds. If you need to use the restroom, there is an outhouse right here.
I'm good.
I mean, you can use, there's a light on. Ooh, I don't know who's in there.
I'll tell you what, you go in there and I'll lock that door.
I bet you will. You know what? I definitely believe that. These guys are so crazy out here. Oh, and we got the redneck condo next door, too. Isn't that what they called your apartment?
It is, something like that.
The redneck condo. The Roval is awesome. Jeff Burton and I had a great time. Thank you guys for watching Fan Friday.
Oh, wow. Look at you. You got a Ram. What made you do that? A lot of reasons.
A comfort you wouldn't believe. Luxury everywhere you look. Not to mention legendary Hemi V8 power.
Maybe I should switch.
More people are switching to Ram trucks than ever before. And now get $1,000 bonus cash if you make the switch during Ram Power Days. During Ram Power Days, get an average $10,433 in total values on select all-new 2019 Ram 1500 models in dealer stock.
All right. We all know the General has some of the best customer service anywhere. But how do we make it better?
Mow their lawns. Do their taxes.
Ambitious. Any other ideas? Yes.
How about an app that lets our customers easily manage their car insurance anytime, anywhere?
Yes.
Get the new mobile app from the General for easier payments, easier claims, and instant proof of insurance.
For a great low rate you can get online, go to the General and save some time.
Golden Corral's Beef Lovers Banquet with our all-new bacon wrapped sirloin filet, smoked beef brisket, portobello top sirloin, and golden delicious shrimp. The Beef Lovers Banquet. Golden Corral, your choice. Rules.
Susan wanted to turn the garage into a yoga studio, but her husband thought a home office would be more practical. It can be tough to get her chakras in line. Yeah, Susan's had to compromise a lot these days, but not when it comes to cutting the cord. Fubo gives her all the sports she wants, as well as all the shows her family loves. Don't compromise. Get over 100 channels plus Showtime and Cloud DVR included. Visit FuboTV.com.
Today's Best Western rewards you in a flash. Get a free night fast with points that never expire at over 4,200 hotels worldwide. And get double rewards points on every stay. Book now at bestwestern.com.
Today we're opening more than 150,000 locations called Domino's Hotspots. Like beaches, roadside attractions, and dog parks. And you can finally have Domino's delivered to every single one of them. No address? No problem. Find a Domino's hotspot near you. Excuse me. You get 2 medium, 2-topping pizzas delivered for $5.99 each.
Get the pizza you love delivered to a Domino's hotspot near you, or any of the other outdoor locations now open for Domino's delivery.
Here we come. Come on, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. 4 times.
There's a line in the NASCAR playoffs.
They picked up quick.
One that transforms a driver into a hero.
It is the perfect backdrop for an elimination race. Bottom line, survive it.
And to cross it first,
no excuses, no mistakes.
They have to lay it all on the line.
Did we just do
Louisville, how y'all doing? Blue chip collector vehicles in the Bluegrass State. That's what this event is all about. As summer shifts to fall, Meekum keeps the heat on. Check out this stable of beauties. Meekum Auctions in Louisville. It's time to let these thoroughbreds run.
The gunner's got it by the nose, 19.5.
Let the stampede begin. Now, if you want a stampede, you're going to need a lot of horses. Got them right here. 840 in this 2018 Dodge Challenger SRT Demon with 37 miles, selling at no reserve. 6.2-liter supercharged Hemi 8-speed automatic transmission and the power sunroof. $5,000 option. 0 to 60, 2.3 seconds. Quarter mile, 9.65 seconds. Top speed, 168 miles an hour. That's what I call a triple crown.
Oh, Saturday is always super at a Mecum auction, whether you're talking about that Demon or any of the other 250-plus cars that will cross the block today in Louisville, Kentucky. It is Mecum Auctions, collector cars and more on NBCSN. Hey everyone, Scott Hook with John Craven. Welcome to our coverage on this Saturday from the Kentucky Expo Center. And yes, it is Saturday. Always a big day for Mecum, as you know. But here's the deal, and what I'm really looking forward to about today's program is that, yes, we're going to have blue chip cars. It is Saturday. But a lot of these cars aren't necessarily going to break the bank. They're not prohibitively expensive, and they're going to be well within reach of the car crazies that are here.
Well, you hit right the theme of what Mecum Louisville is all about, Scott. But here's what has to happen today. So far, on a record pace, now in its third year, the story is going to be told today. The sales, the dollar volume, we're going to be watching it carefully.
Well, speaking of watching carefully, I know it's show and tell time for you. Tell me what you've got for us to take a peek at here.
We're going to take a look at some great 60s GM muscle cars. 1969 Pontiac GTO convertible, 400 cubes, 350 horsepower, turbo 400 automatic, factory air conditioning, lots of power options too. Restored to as new, that's Liberty Blue parchment interior. Looks as good as it performs. 72,287, 69 GTOs were built, but only about 10% convertibles, and this is one of the best. 1965 Chevrolet Chevelle SS hardtop has the hot small block option, code L79, 350 horse, 327. 4-speed transmission, 331 gears, positive traction, 12-volt rear end. Power goodies include windows, tach gauges, clock, even the wood-look steering wheel. Rotisserie restored, that's regal red, black interior. The look is completed with Hurst wheels and redline radials from Coker tires. Has that Z16 vibe, but not the six-figure price tag.
Oh, that is super cool. Thank you, JK. Well, Bill started us off with that new Demon. How about let's turn the clock back a few years and check in with Steven, keeping it in the Mopar family.
Scott, in the 1960s, Plymouth had a great idea. Instead of taking a luxury car and giving it some more punch, why not take a sports car that's really fast and give it some extra luxury? Hence the 1969 Plymouth GTX. This is a monster performer. That's a Hemi, 426 cubes under the hood, 425 horsepower, made it to a 4-speed transmission with a track pack rear end. From stoplight to stoplight, this thing is a disaster waiting to happen, but you didn't sacrifice much on the inside. Look at that full center console, vinyl covered bucket seats up front, a lot of luxury, extra sound deadening. In fact, the only sacrifice that you did have to make was the fact that you could not get factory air conditioning with the 426 Hemi option. So this is a beautiful machine wrapped up in lime green. You'll see it cross the block today in Louisville.
Thank you, Stephen, very much. Let's get to the block right now, where we have a first-year Camaro Super Sport. The reserve is off at $36,000.
High-quality build here. High-performance 350 cubic inch. Chevrolet power plant with a 4-speed. It's got a 4-link rear suspension update, power rack and pinion steering, disc brakes all the way around, and a $36,000 price tag, Scott.
Kind of a cool look with that, with the stripe up front. No rally stripes, but that big block hood on the front end.
Very well presented indeed.
Very nice. And we open with $36,000 for that Camaro. Here's a 1990 Jaguar XJS.
We see a fair amount of these Jaguars from this era, but this one kind of sets itself apart from a lot of them that we see. It is unrestored. It's an original car. Just received its 30,000-mile major service. Always been kept in a garage. That's that V12 power plant that is so silky smooth with an exotic exhaust note. automatic transmission, and a color combination not often seen. White with that dark blue interior with a matching dark blue top.
Give 12.5 at 10,000. Anybody get 12.5? Anybody get 10? Anybody get 12.5? $10,000 is the bid. $12,500 asking 12.5 at 10,000. How about 12? You want to give 12?
Boy, the chrome just gleams on it as well. This is one well taken care of XJS Jaguar.
Now 11. Wayne Scott, are you here, the owner of this car? Are you
10-5.
I'm going to have to make a decision here. I've got $10,500.
That's a bit unusual color combination, I think.
Yeah,
White with the blue.
Right. And very attractive. Car's got a great look. I think we're getting close on a deal.
11.5.
It has that unfortunate Mercedes-Benz third brake light, too.
11.5.
Can you say afterthought?
Yes, exactly.
You brought it to sell, didn't you?
But if that's all you're talking about on this car, as you mentioned, not much else to argue about here. Beautiful car.
At 11.5, you would net 10.
That's Frank back there with the consignor.
It's too good shape. I'll net you 10 grand. I'll net you 10 grand.
Yeah. No.
Want to do that?
That's what you net at 11.
I'll take you to kiss me next time.
You were going to sell it at 11.5.
12.5 is the minimum.
Yeah, but you were telling us.
11.5 I go for it.
Okay.
Not any less than that.
Okay, so I'll net you from 11.5. So I'll pay you like you're getting 11.5, even though we only got 10.5. Okay? I'll pay you the same thing as you'd get as you got 11.5.
All right. The reserve off now. And so Jimmy will get back to work
Reserve
on the
is off on that Jaguar. 10.5 is the bid. Anybody give $11,000
I don't blame the consignor for digging in a little bit because he really has got an unusually nice car. We see a lot of these, but this is one of the finest we've seen.
You heard him tell Frank, hey, that's in too good a shape.
Yeah.
And it took a little bit of tweaking to get it done, but it happened, and at 10.5, that's the hammer price for that Jag.
Right on.
Okay, we are just underway with our coverage tonight. We're going to break away just briefly and continue. A lot of great cars still to come from Louisville. Stay with us.
Dave's dream car. Of course, he prefers the pearl white to the cherry red. But you can't fit 3 kids and a dog who's prone to car sickness in a sports car. Yeah, Dave's had to compromise a lot lately. But not when it comes to cutting the cord. Fubo gives him all the sports he needs, as well as all the shows his family loves. Don't compromise. Get over 100 channels, plus Showtime and Cloud DVR included. Visit FuboTV.com.
Cheese's snacks are the most satisfying combination of crunch with cheese, with their delicious perfection.
Cheese!
It's not all about you, Cheese.
You think I have a mouth? I'm a wheel of cheese.
Got a point.
Yeah. Cheesy, cheesy, crunchy satisfaction.
Today's Best Western rewards you in a flash. Get a free night fast with points that never expire at over 4,200 hotels worldwide. And get double rewards points on every stay. Book now at bestwestern.com.
KFC presents the new 10-piece chicken feast for only $19.99, featuring 2 large mashed potatoes and 4 biscuits, with a whopping 10 pieces of chicken. Get it all for only $19.99 before it's gone. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Endless Shrimp is back at Red Lobster with all the shrimp you want, any way you want them. There's new sesame ginger grilled shrimp with savory soy ginger sauce and sprinkled with Asian seasoning and favorites like garlic shrimp scampi. But Endless Shrimp won't last endlessly, so hurry in.
Hi, I just wanted to tell you that Chevy won a J.D. Power Dependability Award for its midsize car, the Chevy Malibu. I forgot, Chevy also won a J.D. Power Dependability Award for its light-duty truck, the Chevy Silverado. Oh, and since the Chevy Equinox and Traverse also won, Chevy is the only brand to earn the J.D. Power Dependability Award across cars, trucks, and SUVs 3 years in a row. Third time's a charm.
Rise and shine, America. Get out of bed now.
They're two of England's most successful clubs.
And up, score! Brilliant goal for Chelsea. Salah! The perfect finish for Liverpool.
And this season, they've been close to perfect.
Utter dominance.
It's a battle for Premier League supremacy. All rise for Premier League mornings. Chelsea, Liverpool on NBC SN.
Right now, before we go any further, let's send it down the other end to Katie Osborne for the first time. Hey, Katie.
Hey, Scott. Well, of course, we want you to squeeze every ounce of Mecum in Louisville as we are rocking and rolling this weekend. So why don't you go ahead and join us on social media to take a closer look at some of those cars that crossed the block in day one, including that Chevy Nova that sold for $77,000 and that Buick Riviera that sold for $71,500. Those are just a few of the top sellers already here this weekend. Well, it's time now to get the scoop from my buddy Bill Stevens. Bill, what did you find with the Kendall Good Stuff picks?
Oh, plenty of good stuff right here, Katie. One of our favorite cars on the Mecum Trail, a 1969 Pontiac GTO, Judge. Now, under here, you'll see what looks like the original engine, but the 400 cube engine has been removed. That is a 455. It's got Ram Air 4 heads and intake. We're talking some real muscle here. Car's undergone a full nut and bolt restoration about 10 years ago, and it's only been driven about 1,200 miles since then, so it is fresh. It's a 4-speed car, and it's got that signature carousel red paint job on it. It is truly one of the cleanest and straightest Judges we've seen in a while. That's why it's a Kendall Good Stuff pick here in Louisville.
Okay, Bill, thank you very much. Kendall does select a number of cars each time out, and one of our Kendall Good Stuff picks there. You get out what you put in. Here's a 2005 Chrysler Crossfire that just gabbled for a very affordable $4,500.
215 horsepower, V6, collaboration with Daimler Corporation, the parent company of Mercedes-Benz back in this time period. Great driving cars, and boy, they are really good value today.
Moving on to a no reserve 1985 Mustang GT, guys.
Well, Stephen Cox has got his antennas all up on this one. This is a 5-speed manual transmission too, Stephen.
Well, this was kind of when you got some bragging rights again out of the 5-liter V8. If you remember, in the early 1980s, if you wanted the hot Mustang, you had to go with the 2.3-liter turbocharged SVO. But by 1985, they had kind of flipped that. The later turbocharged engines could put out about 205 horsepower, but the 5-liter with the 5-speed transmission actually had 210 horsepower for 1985. And while we've got this door open, take a look right in here, guys. You see those pins that are at the top of each hinge? Whenever you buy a Fox Body Mustang, make sure that you check the doors. It's a very easy fix, but if you feel like you have to lift the door to get it to go back in the door frame to shut properly, those pins, you can buy them for about $20. Take a hammer. They drive in from the bottom, not the top, and they're very easy to replace. And if you buy an old Fox Body, you're guaranteed to have to do that at one point in time or another.
Well, that young man just bought the GT for $6,500. Very nice looking car. And we move ahead to a 1951 Ford F1 pickup truck next.
Well, and I like this. The fact it's been restored is great, but they have kept an original style legendary power plant. That flathead V8 engine first came on the market in 1932 with such fanfare, still going strong in 1951. Actually, back up a minute here. That's the standard inline 6-cylinder flathead engine, right? The V8 was an option. This one does not have the flathead V8. 3-speed manual transmission, so the advantage of the 6-cylinder over the V8, this is going to be a little bit more affordable. The V8 powered trucks will command a little bit more from your pocketbook.
And we still saw why they call it, even though it's a 6, why they call it a flathead, obviously.
Right. It's an inline 6 versus the B configuration of the 8-cylinder engine. Very, very clear to identify. Upgraded to a 12-volt electrical system, so I presume that The builder built this to drive, and it's getting some good love both in the house and on the telephone.
All right, now we're out. It's a 21. What do you want to do? Do you want to be 22? One more time. We're at 21. We got to be 22. Now we got to be 23. We're at 22. You want to be 23. It's at 26, asking 27. Okay. All right.
A lot of vintage truck for the money.
I was going to say, and here's the other thing that strikes me. 9 times out of 10, even maybe more than that, that does have that flathead V8. How unusual is it for us to see the 6 in these trucks?
Well, and glad to see it because it does represent an important part of what Ford was doing back in that era.
Well, let's stay with Ford and check out a 76 Bronco next. This one's selling at no reserve.
Well, and I'm going to predict this one's going to get some pretty good attention. It's a fairly late first-generation Bronco. It's got the 302 cubic inch Ford V8. Look at the originality in the engine compartment, and that carries through the rest of this vehicle. This is primarily an unrestored original Bronco. Many of these they were used a little bit off-road and not particularly well cared for, but not in the case of this one. Automatic transmission as well was an option. This is 4-wheel drive. And I hope you like beige. Yeah, bringing strong money by virtue of its originality and the lack of modifications.
Last one, 50.
Couple small dents and dings around the edges, but that's not having an effect on it.
No, not at all.
39 grand, unrestored Bronco.
It's a new world with these first-generation Broncos.
That is amazing. Well, another no reserve machine is next. A 1969 Mustang. It is a Mach 1.
First year of the Mach 1 package on the Mustang, and it was an instant success. They really did a nice job of making the vehicle look a lot more potent than sort of previous performance versions. That's the M-Code 351 Windsor engine. That's rated 290 horsepower. It's an automatic transmission, documented with the Marty report, Stephen.
Well, they sold about 140,000 total sports roof, or what Ford called them sports roof. The fastback is how we know them today. And just to emphasize JK's point, over 50% of all fastback Mustangs sold in 1969 were Mach 1s. This one is candy apple red. That's a T-code car. And it's a good thing to point out, this is a very, very nice performer. The Boss 351 wouldn't be available for a couple of years, and so you had two choices. You had the H and the M code. You could get 250 or 290. You got the 290 horsepower M code with this engine. And I don't know, it's a nice car, especially at no reserve.
And it's bidding right now just about where they have been. The non-Cobra Jet, non-drag pack cars with this engine combination, mid-upper 20s, still affordable.
Well, and that particular Mach 1 brought $27,000. So we'll move to another Mustang. This is 66 Mustang.
Well, the final year of the first original run of the Mustangs before they went to the different body style in 1967. And another sort of unusual combination. No V8 in this one. 200 cubic inches of inline 6-cylinder power. Nicely detailed, not over the top though. It is an automatic transmission. Got a little console there between the seats that was non-factory, but hey, we need cup holders in the modern era. I'm all for it.
You know, Arcadian blue on a hard top really softened the whole look of the car. You know, now it becomes the cute car that your wife really wants, and Alice wants one of these.